Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everything in between, welcome. It is another fantastic episode here of the Big Buddha Podcast. We're here. I have a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. You can introduce yourself, my friend.
Yeah, buddy. We're here with Ian Spaeth.
Ian Spaeth, my guy. Me and Ian are co-workers. We work over at a recreational and medicinal cannabis dispensary over here in Illinois. And it's been a pleasure getting to know him and working with him. And today we're going to have him on the podcast. So.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
For sure. And they're still clapping it up for you, man. I don't know if you can hear them. The crowd's going wild. But yeah, man, it's nice to have him here. We got quite literally a fucking smorgasbord of cannabis products to not only try but review and talk to you all about cannabis and a lot of other things as well. We have some important points to hit today, and we're gonna cover some not so important points, and it's gonna be really interesting. So I'm excited to jump into it. We've actually been sitting here chopping it up for like a couple hours now, and we just decided to press record. So like we've already had like a whole podcast that we didn't record, and yeah, so you guys are getting the good shit now. We're warmed up.
Yes, it's gonna be great.
For sure, man. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah. So like you said, we work at recreational medical cannabis dispensary. I've been in the cannabis industry for roughly like a decade now. In different aspects, whether it be volunteer work, advocacy, or actually working within the industry directly with cannabis. So yeah. I mean, one of the things we're going to talk about today is, of course, the union efforts that are going on at our work right now.
Sure, which is like a new thing in the cannabis industry.
Yeah. Relatively new. So UFCW, which is who we're actually working with for collective bargaining rights, is they were for a while the only union to represent cannabis workers throughout the United States, and I think they have roughly 10,000 cannabis workers that they represent.
Wow.
So yeah, it's no small.
That's already a lot especially for market in an industry that's just now getting going in Illinois. We're gonna have a whole section on that, but it's like started off in a lighter tone. So like, when did you start enjoying cannabis? Like I think like we all have like a story of like when we first smoked, and then it was like really either intense or you claim that you didn't get high, and then. Because everybody says you don't get high your first time. I got really fucking high my first time, and it kind of freaked me out, and I didn't do it again for like a few years. So like, when did you start like enjoying it on a weekly basis?
So it was right away. So I actually I don't have like a cool I snuck a couple of my dad's roaches stories or anything like that, or my friends had this crazy gravity bong. Like, I had learned about cannabis. I was, by the time I had it, I was maybe just a few weeks out for my 12th birthday. Oh. And I had learned about cannabis.
So you smoked at that age?
11, yeah. So I started smoking whenever I was 11 years old. And it's, I've only taken one break, and it was for like a month during the first year of my freshman year, first semester of my freshman year. So I've really never stopped since I was...
I can relate in a sense, just because like I've been smoking heavily for 10 years, and I've only taken 1 month break one time, and that was to prove to myself that I wasn't addicted.
I think the only reason I did it is just because I didn't like the weed that was there at the time. I think it was...
You were just so bougie that you fucking took a tea break, huh?
Well, no, it was giving me paranoia issues.
Oh,
and when you're
you can't choose
young,
on the street, bro. You can't choose. So like, who knows what you were getting?
Yeah,
are you?
It was Reggie, so I mean, it was some bullshit. It could have been just the pesticides fucking me up, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, who knows? Like maybe the mold.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, they bury that shit underground for fucking years in trash bags, covered in dog hair and
man, and then stuffed inside a tire and driven all the way here a couple thousand miles.
Yeah, they're like, hey, go dig that up in the fucking desert. You know what I mean? Yeah, because night, it gets really cold out there and daytime's really hot, and so yeah, man, like, and that's real shit. I'll like leave his name out of it, but there was a dude that I knew who like this dude he met. Who turned out he was this guy, and he was like this really weird, like high level drug dealer. We assumed he was. He had like a really nice Escalade, and he would always pull up. He was like Mr. Miami, and I never got to meet the dude. But my friend always was the guy dealing with him, and the thing about it was this guy was like delivering us pounds of Reggie, like bricks of brick, like just
like chipping away
a crazy amount. Yeah, and he like steadily got there. Like it started out smaller, like 1 pound, and then eventually he was like fronting us like 4, you know. And yeah, the closer we got to this dude, the less we wanted to know about him. And he would always like spit off these stories about his quote unquote brother, who is a Fed. And
yeah, I don't like that.
And so the last day that he had met with my friend, he was like, "Yeah, I got something for you, dude." You know, I was like, "I really appreciate, you know, we've been working together like 2 years, which is crazy, because we from day one we're like, dude, this guy's a Fed. Like, there's no way he's not. Like, we were insta sweating, and then he started talking about his Fed brother, bro, and we were like, no, dude, no way. And he just kept swearing, I'm gonna stop fucking with him. I'm gonna stop fucking with him. This cat was from Arizona, and so like, yeah, the thing he had for Joe, I already said his name. The thing he had for my friend was that. I'll bleep it out or something. Right? Like, the thing he had for my friend was a fucking pistol, like a military pistol style, like MP issue pistol, because there was no safety on it, and it had a suppressor.
Oh shit!
And I looked at Joe when he showed me the gun. I was like, bro. I looked at my friend when he showed me the gun, and yeah, all the names have been changed for intensive purposes. No, but I looked at the gun and I'm like, bro, nobody has that. You just don't buy a suppressor. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, this dude was like legit stealing from the cartel or whoever, and was like just peddling it to people, and like told us stories about his Fed brother that was actually him, and he like gave us a gun. I'm like, dude, I don't know, I'm not touching that. He actually gave it to our other friend whose dad was like a gun enthusiast. He knew he would take it. It's dirty. It probably killed somebody, or so, you know. You know, like this guy just gave you a gun. He was like, "Oh, I think you need to protect yourself. Here's a suppressed gun. Here's a fucking James Bond 007 style Desert Eagle or whatever the fuck it was."
There's no red flags there.
It was there was total red flag. Yeah, but he was telling us about that, about how they wrapped the brickweed in and we actually did it. We met a guy out in the fucking desert at a Motel 6 about 10 miles from Las Vegas, Nevada. And there was nothing around this Motel 6. It's in the middle of the desert. We met this dude there. We've been buying off him for years. But he lived in California. We'd never met him in person. And he like met us halfway, like met him in the middle of the desert. Like I said, right by Las Vegas. You could see the strip. Like you could see the glow that the strip was putting in the sky because of how dark the desert was. But that was all you could see of the strip. Like we were close, but not too close.
You were out there, yeah.
You could see like the aura that it was radiating. I'm like, that's kind of dangerous.
It's
like,
ominous, yeah.
You think that means more than they were taking? Like, well, yeah, those are lights, but like also probably not good for everything else in the world, like the world itself, you know? Yeah, but anyway, we got in the hotel room and he was saying the same thing that the Fed guy was saying about how they wrap it. So it was like, and I don't know if this is just like paranoid stoners, like doing stoner ingenuity, but it was like the weed, obviously, and they put it like in a bag and then vacuum seal that. And then it was like, they like bathe the bag in olive oil and then saran wrap it and then dog hair and then saran wrap and then probably vacuum seal it again, you know, with like coffee grounds around it or some shit. I'm like, bro, that's like a lot of extra steps. But like the olive oil supposedly seals it in.
Oh yeah.
And then like the dog hair, obviously towards dogs. And then there's like, you know, like I was like, but what's the thing there? Like you get pulled over and then you're like, no, bro, your dog was only hinting because I had dog hair in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't my weed that was underneath there.
I know some people use wax to cover up the smell. Dryer sheets, that was a big one. I remember the dryer sheet weed from like
you remember doing the homemade the
spoofs or sploofs or whatever
no the homemade fucking
dryer sheet
smoke buddies with like the toilet paper roll or the paper towel roll rather. If you did the toilet paper roll, you're a nasty motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you got to use
you know, there's like some fucking dirt stoner out there that was like,
yeah, and at that point, it's not even helping either. Not only nasty, it's just gonna smell like weed and laundry in your house. Like you need a good stack.
Poop particle cardboard on your lips, on your fucking
man.
Yeah.
To be fair, though,
those things work, though.
How often do you really pick up a thing of paper towels and use that for clean situations, though? You know, I mean, paper towels end up in some pretty nasty spots,
It's
too.
true. It's true. Honestly, like I buy like soft like shop towels or like there's a brand called Vivo that's out there and like they make really soft like Kleenex style paper towels. I buy those just because like I use them for everything. I'd rather like blow my nose and everything with those.
Yeah,
They're more durable.
the bleeding heart liberal in me buys these this
What's the difference?
it's these toilet paper and paper towels from this place called Who Gives a Crap, and it's all bamboo.
It's bamboo.
It's bamboo toilet paper and paper
Is that
towels.
not like depleting the bamboo?
No,
in the
because
world?
it rapidly grows, so they just have farms where they
So it's
grow
a problem
bamboo.
out there, huh? Bamboo, like it's like I'm asking genuinely.
It's not a
like,
problem, but you can rapidly grow certain geniuses or strains or whatever you call it, a bamboo.
I just know panda bears eat bamboo, and I think you're being insensitive to the panda bears that exist in the world.
You know, the panda bears have had it hard for a long time.
Yeah, dude. Well, yeah, like what you're saying that they're almost extinct. So like, let's just let them down easy. You know, they're about it's like the gray rhino. There's only one left. You know, so let's quit feeding them.
They had a good ride, yeah. You know, they'll be fine.
I mean, dinosaurs were cool too, but I mean,
Give
they
them
had
some
to go,
soylent
right?
or something.
Like,
they'll
the dinosaurs
be good.
had to die so we could flourish.
I mean,
you know,
I don't know if they had to, but I'm glad they did.
There's no way man. You think man imprisons dinosaurs? In real life, like I understand we'd have zoos, which are great examples of that. But like,
I think that we could do anything. The ingenuity of people is.
Do you think? And I think that's what's so scary about Jurassic Park, in a concept. But like, do you think that in the near or even distant future that I mean, obviously those style of genetics and creation is possible. Like they're already cloning like with that sheep that was just made in a lab. I have a suspicion that they've done a lot of other shit. They didn't cut it off at that sheep.
No. They still post stuff about that.
They got some people.
Yeah.
They got some people.
Oh man.
I guarantee it, bro. I would bet my bottom dollar. This is a conspiracy podcast. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
No, I wouldn't put it past. I mean, shit. If I was a fucking genetic scientist, I'd probably make some dinosaurs too.
Well, yeah.
Why the hell not? If you were the person who
put your
makes
mark
a
on that.
dinosaur,
You're that. See, this is where it
person.
goes wrong. You're that Asian scientist in fucking Jurassic Park.
I'm that
was
guy.
like, I was just doing my job, and I created the genocide of man on accident. Like, you asked for the most ferocious velociraptors, and
it's
what was the Adonis Rex? They bred. Did you watch those movies?
not the later ones.
Yeah,
No.
so they bred like a velociraptor and a T-Rex or something, and it was like this big crazy hunting machine.
I did see that. Yeah.
But like I was reading something the other day that said that we kind of embellish velociraptors a bit. Like they were actually a lot smaller than we imagined, and they weren't as dominant of predators. They were just really fast.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we embellish everything.
That being said, I like even if they're waist high, I don't want to get jumped by a flock of velociraptors.
I don't even want to get fucking attacked by a single dog, let alone for a velociraptor.
And while we're on that topic, fuck birds. I don't like birds either, to be honest. Like they don't have souls. Like have you ever like connected with a bird? I like parrots and like the ones that can talk.
Hold on, we're gonna get a little political with it. What about the bird that was kicking it with Bernie back in 2016?
Yeah, that bird's got full VIP pass. He's full cookout for life.
Yeah,
I agree. I like the I don't hate birds. Like I just think they're the fucking descendant of dinosaurs.
I'm cool with birds,
Yeah, but big birds are mean, bro.
They're
like,
fucking scary. Yeah.
You ever been and like ran into a pelican like on the beach? Like, dude, like those things are not.
So
that's a dinosaur. If you watch that thing eat, it clicks its throat when it like swallows things, and like after I saw that in person, I'm like, I don't fucking like those, dude.
Yeah. I used to live in my car when I lived in Oregon for a long time, and whenever I was in the
what was that like?
You know what? Being homeless on the West Coast is almost better than being stable in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, because I watch a YouTube channel of a girl that's actually living in her suburban, and she's driving around like Oregon and Washington.
Yeah,
and her life seems very interesting. There's a lot of state parks up there that she like just camps at.
Most of the state parks.
So is that what you did as well?
I did a lot of state parks, truck stops, and rest stops too. I mean, like Loves and Flying J. They're pretty dope places, and they also have showers there. It's like $11 to take a shower, but they're really nice.
Well, yeah. Hey, man. I mean, shit. I've actually had to consider that in recent years, just finding a clean place to take a shower. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's like a real human problem that a lot of people never have to deal with. And but once you do, you appreciate certain things a lot more. Once you've like slept in a dirty place sleeping in a clean place, it hits a little different.
Oh yeah, and then
But I mean, but you're going for the experience if you're out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? If I'm like on an adventure and I'm like, if I'm looking at it like camping or if I'm looking at it like adventuring, bro, like I don't mind sleeping anywhere. Like, like I would almost rather do that as a homeless person, quote unquote homeless person, like living in my vehicle than living in a shitty apartment or something, paying rent, working a job I hate to live in a place that's nasty as well.
Yeah, I wasn't doing like the fun like van life though. Like it wasn't.
It
like,
was legit homelessness.
It was.
I mean, a little different.
Yeah. So
she makes it look cute, and I think I'm like romanticizing that a bit.
So I mean, it's probably the hardest point in my life, but it's also the greatest point in my life. But whenever I was living out there, like, so I lived in a station wagon with my now ex-fiance and my cat. And there was just the driver's seat, the passenger seat, and then the one single spot in the back seat for the cat. And then everything
cat was pissed off.
She didn't like it at first, but she got really cool with traveling around. She was 19 years old before she passed. So she was an old cat when we left for Oregon even.
R.I.P. What's the cat's name?
Sleepy.
R.I.P. Sleepy.
Yeah, shout out to Sleepy.
I like some cats. I like the cats that have personalities. And it's not that I dislike cats that don't have personalities or that have cold personalities, because that's a personality too. I'm just too insecure to own a cat.
I gave my cat a libertarian personality.
Yeah, so it was very loving. And
it was. I mean, it was like, super open,
selective as fuck.
But it thought that it was more independent than it really was.
Yeah, well, it really is independent. Yeah,
it was very dependent.
I think that's every cat's like they allow you to feed them. Like in their mind, in their mind, they're like, yeah, this guy cleans my shit box. Like they own you in their mind, I think. Like, and that's why I'm too insecure for a cat's love. Like, even living in close quarters like that, like if I lived with a cat, like it's a very intimate situation where like you could build love for a cat. I actually have a cat that I feed out here that I want to love and it won't let me love it. So like I could love a cat, but I'm a little insecure for a cat's love because they choose when they want to love you. Like you come home from work, that cat might be like, whatever. Like your dog's like, oh my God, you're here. I thought you were never coming back again. And like your dog is like, so that's like what I need. I need that type of reassurance in my life. I just got like, I have issues with insecurity in that sense. Like I need the love. Like I need love when I need it, and I don't need you to reject my love. I'm even talking about like emotional love. Like if I come home from a hard day, your dog is gonna be the first one to be like, what's up? Now that being said, if you're really in tune with your cat,
I usually am. Like my cat's I'm the cat.
I've never experienced it myself, but I've seen cat people that their cat knows when they're sad.
Oh yeah.
And like get snuggles and like the cats are smarter than dogs, and that's why they have the ability to choose based on their emotions. Now dogs are smart too, bro, but dogs are just they're there for you. Like somebody explained that to me one day. Was like somebody was like mad at their dog, and like somebody snapped on that dude. We were in public, and I was like, you know what, your dog sits all day at home and lives for you, and like it's all that dog thinks about all day is you. And I'm like, bro, that's some deep shit. Because I never think about like a dog all day. Probably like its whole existence and like thought process revolves around their human.
Yeah, and you can't be mad at a dog for being a dog. Like, I mean, dogs are gonna bark, dogs are gonna lick, they're gonna jump. Sometimes they bite. And just
piss and chew on shit. And
that's some. I mean, same thing with cats. I mean, they're a little bit easier to live with because they're smaller, so they don't. When they do fuck up, it's not quite as dramatic. But
yeah, unless they're boys, and then you gotta cut off their balls because they piss everywhere.
Man, male cats are a pain in the ass. Female cats are the way to go for sure. Because like I said, I had my cat for 19 years, and my cat gave birth to that cat. Yeah. So
and I had a misconception. Like if you only had one cat, like I was like, well, that cat's not gonna piss, because why would it have to mark a territory that no other animal exists in?
Oh yeah,
that's not a logical way to look at it, because that cat's like, I'm pissing on everything I think is mine, and it's all yours because I don't buy anything because I'm a cat.
Yeah, you gotta get him fixed right away.
Yeah, my friend CJ, my partner, his fucking cat Snow is like, I love Snow. He's such a personality, a beautiful cat, but he's such an asshole. Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead, strike it up. Yeah, well, like I said, we got a smorgasbord of shit here, but yeah, his cat's such a fucking such a character, and he's such an asshole, like purposely, like the cat's an asshole. And it's so funny to see like a cat with like such a personality. Like it's not like it loves you when it wants to love you, essentially. You know what I mean? And like I almost like if I had a cat, I would almost want him to have its own personality, in a sense.
Oh yeah, and they do. I mean, and you get to know them.
I would also need a dog though, just to like for reassurance.
I think that's why I like cats more. And I'm not. I mean, yeah, I definitely like cats more than dogs because like
I think it's rare, but like you could get that perfect harmony in your household where you can have one of each. You know, if you just teach the dog not to fuck with the cat. Most of the time, the cat will teach the dog not to fuck with the cat because the cat, like, I will fucking scratch your face.
My parents have 3 badass dogs, and they got a little kitten. Little tiny kitten. I was worried that the dogs were going to kill this cat.
They treated it like a puppy.
They taught this cat all their bad habits, and now this cat
Thinks it's a dog.
And it's a Maine Coon. It's a big ass.
It's a big old cat.
Big ass cat now. Like it's shot up from being a little kitty to a fucking twice the size of a normal cat in like a handful of months. And now this cat scares the shit out of me.
It's a problem, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It like came after my sister one day because she went to like Bed and Bath and Beyond.
Yeah, see, because like cats are a little more intense than dogs. Like when there's anger, you know.
Oh, a cat will kill you. A cat can kill you for sure. I mean, the only difference between a house cat and a lion is literally size.
And I've seen cats like maul people on the internet. And you just like it's hard to get them off you. Like it's not like you're just gonna throw this cat.
No, it's like a Chinese finger trap. You try to throw a cat, it's just gonna dig farther and farther into your flesh. Like you're gonna hurt yourself trying to get it off. The best thing to do is to just lock up. Just lock up and not try to fight back. Maybe hold them still. Because if you try to like fight or throw that cat, you're gonna fuck yourself up.
Punch him in the face. I don't know. Yeah, I doubt that's what I do. Okay. I was just talking earlier. If we like ran into a cheetah, I would like literally shit my pants quite instantly. There was a video I saw of like a mountain lion like chasing a guy on a hike, or he was like stalking him rather, not chasing.
I've seen that. Yeah. That's
oh my god, bro! Like that guy was way too calm.
Just like no.
He was way too. I wouldn't, bro. I would have like froze. That cat would have got me. I would have been laying there. You know,
man.
Froze
I don't know
in fear
what I would have done.
because you can't run. I can't outrun that cat. If I run, that cat's gonna chase me.
I would have yelled. I think I would have probably
yelled at the cat.
Yeah,
I think he had the right idea throwing those big ass rocks that he started to throw. I'm like, bro, I would have from the beginning. I would have been launching projectiles, like, you know what I mean?
You gotta let it know that you're a threat.
Yeah. I was walking my sister's pit bull Rosa one day, and we ran into a full grown German Shepherd male who was loose, no leash or nothing, and I started to do like I just did the same thing. I picked her up first off because she's a pit bull, but she's like kind of a baby, so she was like, I mean, she was a full grown dog, but she was a fucking kind of a baby emotionally. So like, she starts whimpering as soon as this dog even gets close. So they kept like getting close. I was yelling at it, so I started throwing rocks, bro. I was like, I don't want to hurt a dog, but at the same time, bro, I'm not gonna get mauled.
No.
By either one of you fuckers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially because I know Rose is a pit bull, but she was such a sweetheart. It was just like, this dog's not going to hurt that dog. You know, at least not initially.
You said it was a German Shepherd?
The other one was a full-grown male German Shepherd that lives right across the street over here.
Yeah, that kind of dog, that can kill you for sure. I mean, that'll rip your
He was a big boy, too. He was like, I mean, he's easy, almost 200 pounds. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating. He was a big boy. He was like a huge German Shepherd, like way bigger than the average one I've seen.
I wouldn't doubt it. Dogs get massive.
He was old, too. He was old, too. Like, so he had some dad weight.
Used to have a bull mastiff Saint Bernard growing up, and that was a big ass dog.
It's a big one. I really want a fucking. I don't have any dogs or anything like that, but I really want a bull terrier.
Bull terriers are cool.
I think that's what I'm gonna go with when I get my new place. Yeah, man. So we do have a smorgasbord of cannabis, as I've previously alluded to. All kinds of shit. I mean, quite literally, we have like dabs that we're going to try. We're going to review some shit. What's cool about this segment of the podcast, I'm kind of starting. I haven't done this before. Since I do work at a dispensary now, as does Ian, we have access to a lot of things. Now, I don't necessarily get anything for free or anything like that. Like, we purchase these items, but we have knowledge, and we have access of knowledge, more importantly, to what things are there and when they're there and things like that. So we have the ability to try a lot of different things, and I have been anyway. one of these things I want to do for the new podcast is the segment where we just open, review, and try, some dabs, different brands and stuff. And what's cool about this is actually not a cool part, because like the way laws are structured in states, you have to, dispensaries cannot sell weed from out of that state traditionally. So in Illinois, the companies that we sell are traditionally grown here, and as by law they have to be. So the things we're trying, the brands we're trying, is available to you and here in Illinois recreationally, most of them. And yeah, you guys can buy them. They're Illinois companies. And when I say that, I say it lightly because most of them moved here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, a lot of the places like Verano and Arise and
Sure, Joshi.
yeah, Jushi, they come from other places.
I hope they get into cultivating though.
Jushi does cultivation. They have a
In other states.
yeah, it's called the Bank. Yeah, that's their.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about with Joshi, it's a company here, and it's just like what's the other one? Ascend and
Ascend. There's GTI.
GTI.
There's Cresco. We've got all kinds.
Well, yeah, but I just was talking about like dispensaries. What is it? Green Light or something in Missouri.
Oh yeah,
it's like medicinal though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Missouri's not recreational. Although I did call up a CBD place the other day trying to like get info on like the Delta 8 and Delta 10 carts. They obviously don't have the Delta 10 carts yet, but the Delta 8's out there. And like after the longer I talk to the dude, I'm like, I'm not gonna enjoy this.
No,
like because as an everyday cannabis user, like it would be such a light diet experience for me that it would almost not notice it for $65 a gram too.
Who did you call by chance?
CBD Kratom.
Oh, I fucking knew it. I hate them with a passion.
I called two of them. So there was CBD Kratom, and then there was CBD something. There was another CBD store I called. I called two of them just to get pricing.
Yeah, and I used to be the training manager for that company.
$65 for a Delta 8 cartridge.
You know what's fucked up? There might not be any Delta 8 in that.
Yeah, that too. Like you're not guaranteeing anything because also like it says on the thing I don't need a medical card to buy it. Well, that also means you don't have to regulate it the same.
Yep, yeah, it's all part of the supplement industry, and of course this is all.
And you're not giving me percentages.
No, they don't give you percentages, batch testing, anything like that. And
yet they're selling specific strains.
I've been very skeptical.
Somehow,
yeah.
Like the way she explained it to me, she's like, "Oh, we have sour diesel, we have blue dream." I'm like, "Do you though?"
They don't.
Do you have those things?
No.
Do you really have Super Skunk, or is it just like something you're saying that's that to sell it to people that are in Missouri and think that they're getting like, because it's like the placebo effect essentially, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like if I anticipate a feeling, then there's a good chance I'm gonna experience that, Well,
I was gonna say because of the way that the laws are structured around supplements in general, with Mr. Nice Guy, I'm actually skeptical that like about half of their products even containing CBD, and they can legally get away with that too.
See, and that's crazy to me because like it is still in the cannabis industry. Mm-hmm. I feel like not that other people shouldn't be able to sell it. I'm actually all for like weed being more free than it is. Mm-hmm. I just think that you should leave it to the professionals.
Oh yeah, there needs to be common sense regulation that's scientifically.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, because even like right now with Illinois cannabis testing. Like none of the percentages are actually accurate, so we don't. Yeah, so we don't test cannabis the same way they do in other states. We take THCA and THC and we add them together, and we're like, all right, it's going to be 30% THC.
I noticed that. That's why, like, I started staying away from really high THCA content. Because I'm going to burn it and it will turn into THC, but I'd rather just have the thing.
Well, like it's good to have high THCA because if it's already starting to break into THC as a flower, it usually means it's degrading and the carbon chains are breaking down.
Right.
But in other states, though, they do the math based off of bioavailability, the rate at which it converts from THCA to THC. So, what's a 30% here in Illinois could maybe be like a 25% in Colorado.
Yeah, and I think that's like because there is some inconsistencies from someone that's been both places. Now, I've talked about this before I worked at a dispensary. Like last year about this time, I was running a podcast, and I was going to the dispensaries, and I was like talking about my experience, and it was early. Like this is right after Green Solution had became Beyond Hello, and like before This was like it was HIC.
HCI, yeah.
HCI, that's what it was in Collinsville. It wasn't Ascend yet. And, none of the new buildings or anything existed back then. And the product was subpar.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wasn't, like, even, like I bought Ozone. It was like Strawberry 14 or something back then. And, like,
oh, yeah, the Strawberry Geist.
Bro, it was dry and it didn't taste good. Like, I quite literally called my street florist and apologized. Because I was like, bro, I went behind your back and I fucking could have bought better from you. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Ozone.
But like I will say, like I just threw their name out there, so I want to go ahead and finish that thought. So like now in the industry, like it's gotten to the point where like these growers are getting more comfortable with their systems and they're upgrading their stuff probably. And Ozone's actually one of the few brands that we sell in completely clear jars besides their stickers, and it helps you see their product. And I will say that. We talk about like Rhythm, who actually has the opposite of that. Well, that's for curing purposes. Like cold, dark rooms cure your weed better as long as they're in jars. And so obviously like clear glass, more light, black glass, no light.
And Ozone will do the same thing. They'll put it inside of a box, the jar inside of a box.
Oh, see.
You'll notice it with their like really high THC contents. And you're right, like about a year and a half ago, whenever things first went legal, like the Ozone stuff was consistently coming up with seeds. It just was dry and flavorless.
And it was a completely different experience than when I went to dispensaries in Colorado.
Oh yeah, it's like, a different
world.
Yeah,
like they're both in a sense like similar to a pharmacy in that you put it in order and there's a guy in a lab coat or a guy that like with a name tag that like bags it up and brings it up like an order. But like everything else was more customer friendly as far as the way that the laws allow. And I think that's like the real difference, right? Like. Unfortunately, Illinois, and I'm thankful that we're in this age. I mean, not only do I work at a dispensary, but like I am a cannabis connoisseur and advocate, and I'm an avid cannabis advocate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really enjoy cannabis, and I that's why I started the podcast because I really wanted to like talk about the positive nature of weed and like how much it's helped me and how much it's helped other people. And that's why like a lot of these questions that I'm going to be asking you about like your experience with weed is like, it's like just to tell people like, look, like I'm not within that stereotype, that negative connotation that gets pinned with being a stoner.
No.
Because like there's just, we talked about it earlier when we were talking about like the whole Juggalo thing, but like we were just like in a conversation, you remember? It's like, dude, there are dirt bags in the world.
Oh, all over.
Period.
The place.
Like all throughout different levels of humanity, there's an undesirable person or peoples out there. Okay, it doesn't necessarily blanket statement one group, necessarily. And I think stoners for like 40 plus years got a bad rap, because of this. Like war on drugs really ramped up, like in the Reagan era. Obviously the laws were in place before that, but like everything kind of ramped up with that war on drugs and that bullshit we talked about Reagan earlier. I feel like I'm not a Reagan fan, but we won't touch on that too much. But it's just like we with the weed thing. It's like for so long we've been looked down upon and stereotyped as this negative, like we're all like men, like and I mean I catch myself doing it. I say on the podcast a lot. Like I'll say like. That's me all day, and I don't even notice that I do it. I try to do it less, but it happens. You know what I mean? And there's stoner tendencies in the world. I
wouldn't even sweat it.
But honestly, the good things, like the things I've noticed about pot that unite us, are things I love about pot.
Oh yeah.
Like it's an instant conversation, like icebreaker, like instant. Like you can make best friends with people you've never met, and that's quite literal. And like I don't know of any other substance that really does that besides like other drugs.
I haven't made a friend in the last 15 years that wasn't directly through cannabis use.
Sure, in some way, right? Like obviously, like you connected on other issues, but like this kind of like it's a shoehorn we talked about there. Like just kind of like it lubes the butthole a little bit, like oh okay, well I actually enjoy this person.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was just because the exposure in the industry that I've had. Yeah, literally all of my friends are because of my connections with cannabis and just our mutual appreciation for the plant.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there's definitely some like relatability, like connectivity from just your general experiences, right? Like
definitely,
especially before the legalization era, the way that we had to smoke for so long. There's like like I still every now and then, like when I buy, like I'll be kind of like looking around for something. I'm like, wait, I don't have to do that no more. Like, you know, like when I'm in public and I like smoke a joint, like I still kind of like duck off like a crackhead kind of.
Man, I've been smoking like it's legal for way too long.
Yeah, so we do that, bro. But like, you know, like when I blaze up in public, like at this point, like 4 years ago, I'm that guy. Like middle of the crowd, I don't care who's next to me. Like I'll light it up in front of a kid. You don't like it, move your kid. You know what I mean? Like bro, like that was how it was. But like now, I'm so like, and I don't know if this is like a phobia I'm growing, but like I'm like pretty passive aggressive, non-confrontational, and like I just would rather save myself the hassle of dealing with a person in fear of like some suppressive fucking energy that I have built up inside of me that like I don't know could be pending like a, you know, like I'm super mellow all the time, and it kind of like worries me occasionally. Like when wrong shit happens, I have like a weird way of rationalizing it where it doesn't like freak me out like it would other people sometimes. Yeah. And I'm worried that like someday that's gonna surface, and so like I'd rather just not deal with people that are gonna like push areas of myself. Like if someone genuinely, like I'm hard to piss off, like real hard to like genuinely piss off, like I might get mad, but like to make me hate you or want to physically hurt you, it would take a lot.
I can sympathize with that.
You know, and so like while like I get mad at you, we argue, I could yell, like, but like for me to want to hate you or hurt you, bro, like I would have to like either be in sport where like we're both mutually wanting to hurt each other, or I really have a reason. Yeah. You know, and so like I just don't like people. I try not to go in public anymore. But
yeah, I have never been much of a heavily public person.
See, but like cannabis, like that's probably something we bond over, right? Like I smoke weed. I talk about how long it takes me to go do things sometimes, and I am slow, and I'm like, that's just who I am as a person. I've stopped apologizing for it. But yeah, like smoking is a part of my ritual before I go places, just because it relieves my social anxiety, which I didn't realize that I had until you get older and you start describing symptoms, which you didn't know were symptoms, but this is, you know, the way I feel. You hear somebody else say, well, that's called anxiety. And you're like, oh, well, really? And you Google it, and you're like, oh, it is fucking anxiety. Oh, hell yeah. You know, and like, and honestly, but here's the thing: you go to a professional with anything, and depending on that professional's like mindset on you as a person, like their judgment on you as a person, they may or may not convince you that you have, especially when it comes to like mental things, right? Like, if there's something I didn't realize existed until somebody tells me, oh, you have anxiety. Yeah. I'm like, wait, do I? No, I have anxiety about the thought that I have anxiety, and I didn't realize I had it. Now I have it, and you know, like, yeah. And then so it's like, oh yeah, the human mind's tricky like that. But I think weed kind of eliminates a lot of that, man. Like it's not that I need it to go places, but I definitely use it before I go anywhere because
it makes it better, man.
It does.
Yeah, I was gonna say I generally like if I'm going in somewhere, like there was a point in time where like. And like we had discussed earlier, it was because it was street weed and you didn't get a choice in what you had.
Yeah. As an indica sensitive sativa person, that was a hard world.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, as someone I used to be really sensitive to sativas in my younger years.
Yeah, I heard you talk earlier about like anxiety. Was it attack or like a panic attack?
It wouldn't be so much like panic attack. I would just get it in my head, like, I really don't want to fucking do this, and then I just wouldn't.
What's the difference between an anxiety and a panic attack, essentially? Is like just one like a higher level of the other? Or
yeah,
one's like a potentially fatal version?
I felt like I always had control of my situation. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, you weren't like, I'm dying, my heart's racing.
No, I wasn't feeling like I'm going to freak out or over, like ventilating or anything like that. It was just like I don't want to fucking go to Schnucks because I'm high. I don't want to look these people in the face, so I'm not going to. I'm going to fucking get some Jack in the Box.
I can actually relate to that. And it's just like, it wasn't anything to do with like sativa, but it had everything. It was just like, it was like Thanksgiving, and it was Walmart, and it was like around the time that I started doing carts. And like I had legit was like kind of freaking out. Like it's Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people at Walmart. Like I don't like Walmart as it is. Like I try not to shop there because like I'm against the whole idea of it. But I also like they have everything and they're the only thing open at fucking midnight. So like going to Walmart, you know what I mean? And go to Walmart last minute shopping. And dude, there's so many people there and it's late at night. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, how is there this many people there? So now I'm freaking out. And in my car, I like panic hit my fucking my pen like 10 times, bro. Not even realizing it, bro. Like, you know, like you get into your zone and like I was actually in my phone, I think. And I was just like waiting till I felt better to like get out of the car. And like yeah, I got like 10 hits in, and
That'll do it.
I didn't even notice it right then, but I got inside and I was like staring. Like I remember I was in some random aisle. I was like in the party aisle, and I was not going to a party. I have no idea. Like this aisle just had fancy colors, and I think that's what pulled me in. I was just like staring at this wall, and I'm just like, I have no idea what I even came to Walmart for. I don't even know why I got in the car to came to Walmart. Like that shit was like wiped clean. Like somebody had deleted the file.
Man, 10 reps off a fucking vape will do it.
Oh my god, bro! Like that was like the first time. I'm like, okay, like I like just because you don't feel it right away, fucking chill on that shit. Like, you know, I mean, honestly, and like some of the sativa vape carts, even though I'm a sativa person, don't work for me because of the high that the cart
offers.
Well, because the high, it doesn't matter if it's indica or sativa. Like the high that the cart offers is a very head high, short type of experience compared to like smoking
100%
flower or dabs. So, you know, that being said, like also adding the negative effects of sativa, you know, like there's pros and cons of indica and sativa.
Oh yeah.
Adding some of the cons from sativa to the head high strong cart thing is like, bro, like I either feel it too much and it's like, whoa, or I don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
Because like the sativa, like it's already light. I'm already like, and most of the time I'm dabbing other shit anyway. I get high and then I leave and then I have my pen to get high when I'm not at home getting high.
Yeah.
You know, and that's usually the way I live my life. But like those carts are handy for that. Other than that, I have no purpose for a cartridge.
The carts, they're just really not worth it. I mean, it's when you really get down to it, there's not that much extra work that's put into making a distillate than there is making any other type of concentrate, and they're charging twice as much for it. So yeah, it's just at the end of the day, the cartridges just really don't make much sense to me personally. But whenever I get one, I mean, I do appreciate them. They're super convenient, but like you said, it's a super quick and super short, buzzy high. That's going to be really head buzzy regardless of sativa or indica.
Yeah, for sure. It's just not my favorite high. It's not that I dislike it. It's just, you know, like if I'm having a hard day, like smoking a cart doesn't get the fucking job done.
Yeah.
You know?
I've gotten to the point now where like I'm not particular about indica or sativa. I like indicas just because it helps with the back pain a lot that I have.
It's very hipster of me, but I'm almost against the idea of carts now, just because it's what all like the yuppie fucks smoke. Like if you catch some fucking Chad out in the wild that's like, oh, I haven't smoked in like 10 years because my job frowns upon it and whatever. Like that dude's coming back in smoking carts.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's low. He's eating those fucking
or sativa.
He's
gummies.
eating the gummies. Yeah, he's doing both. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chad is eating those gummies and he's
got
smoking.
The tonics.
He's got the good news fucking disposables.
Oh,
you know, like
man,
and
Friday.
Yeah, bro. I actually don't mind those. It's funny. Nico at work, he told me I got the good news Vegas for.
Oh, that's my favorite.
For an edible or for for a sample one day, and like it says sparkling white grape is the flavor, and he was like he ruined it for me. He was like, well, he actually made it for me. I don't say ruined it because like I enjoy it more now.
Yeah.
But he was like, think of an Andes mint.
That's what. Yeah, it's exactly
when you smoke it, and I'm like, dude, like as soon as I taste it, I'm like, it's not white grape. It tastes like an Andes mint. Why are they marketing it?
Well, they don't actually say on the. I don't think they say on the vape package white grape, but they say it on the gummy package, and all of the other vapes match up with the gummy. So like intuitively, you would think that it should be a white grape.
Weird. So like, but the Friday has a flavor profile.
The Friday, yeah, it's like a
watermelon.
Yeah, it's like a sweet melony kind of flavor. I mean, it's not really that bold. It's not like eating a gummy. I think that the like Cresco or whatever they can be kind of hit or miss. Like they've been getting a lot better, but they're.
I agree. I like their extracts actually. Like bang for your bucks. Like if you're going to a dispensary right now in Illinois and you're not like go fuck those prices, blah blah blah. Instead of spending 30 on a gram from your street guy, just one time, put another like 60 or like put another like 40 to 60 bucks together and go get yourself something that like is regulated, has a name, has a place, and just try it. And like Cresco's a good like intro to those people that are afraid of spending the 75 on an eighth from Revolution.
Yeah.
They get like the Cresco eighth, which is on sale at our place of business, and it's like it's something like they can get. Same thing with High Supply. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I'm not going to advocate for High Supply. However, it's definitely an affordable option for the people that don't want to spend the cash. I tell everyone when I'm bud tending, no matter what industry you're in, you get what you pay for in life, and that's just like a tattoo artist that I used to fuck with. He told me something I never forgot, and he was just talking about tattoos, but it's very applicable to like many areas of life. He said, "Good tattoos ain't cheap, and cheap tattoos ain't good." You know what I'm saying?
He's not lying.
And he's not lying.
He's not lying.
Like,
and even if it's a good tattoo, you'll pay some other way. Because man, all my tattoos have been basement tattoos.
You could get a good artist and pay him not a lot of money, and he's gonna give you not a lot of money tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, but like most people that are doing for cheap are like you're saying, like basement tattoos. And I got a few, bro. Like I got some, like my homie Kyle, who's actually, his name's Kyle Russell. He goes by Walter Grizzly on Facebook, but he's a badass tattoo artist now. Like this dude's downtown doing his thing, and he's fucking crushing it, dude. And I got some of his originals on me, and like I'm proud of that. Those are cool. Like,
That's the whole reason I did it, because I figured my buddy was probably going to get into a shop. I think he dropped out of doing tattoo stuff and is doing the family thing now. But like I thought he was going to really take to it because he was a great artist, outside of it. Yeah, and I basically paid for it by having a heavy-handed free tattoo artist. He would drill and it would take forever, but it was free, so I couldn't turn down the.
Hell yeah. I mean, you could, but
no, I could not.
It's like I paid him $45 to do both of these on my arms. This one says create, and then this one says rebirth. And this is like a zombie hand, and this is like a hand sprouting a plant from it, like the human's ability to create. I was just really high when we thought of it, and it was $45. And so I did that. The only free tattoo I have actually is this big one on my thigh. I drew it, and I'm going to show it to you. But I drew it, and then my friend, we were on acid, and he is not a tattoo artist, but he had a tattoo gun.
So he did it?
And yeah, we were both tripping balls, and he fucking tattooed me. And I drew that myself, and he tattooed it. His teeth are all cracked. It looks like he's been smoking crack rock, but it's a sugar skull. And it's fucked up, and I'm going to leave it fucked up. That was a fucked up part of my life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm actually going to get a Buddha head on the other side, really, really, really nice. Mm-hmm. Just to like contrast, you know what I'm saying? Like when my life gets in a place where I'm like really proud of myself, on that leg, I'm gonna put like a portrait of fucking Buddha on the other side to like show my growth. You know what I mean?
dig that.
It's a weird concept, but like I'm just kind of rolling with it at this point.
Hell yeah,
but anyway, we're here, man. We're gonna get fucking high. What do you want to start with, bro?
So what did we just smoke?
Dabs. Dabs. We've been smoking flowers since you got here. So tell everybody what you got over there, bro.
So I got the Dr. Dabber switch over here. I paid way too fucking much for it.
How much did you pay for it?
When it's said and done, it'll be $450.
Well, how much is it like new? Are you talking about like with attachments and stuff?
So it was with taxes and shipping and shit like that.
Okay, so how much was it?
$420.
$420 before tax.
Yeah,
and then $30 in tax.
Roughly, yeah.
That's like dispensary taxes.
That's what I'm saying, man. But yeah, well, I mean, it also had the shipping and everything like that. Since it was a vaporizer, they had to charge me for shipping since it had to, go through X like fucking criteria, for being signed off on and this and that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they had to do like licensing and trademarking and all that. This is quite a fucking piece of equipment. Like I tried to get GoPros for this episode just so you guys could see us, but like part of this is partly why, because I wanted everybody to see this. Quite like this fucking changed colors. Like it was spinning quick earlier, and I asked him why, and he was like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "Like, is that just for entertainment?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, these motherfuckers, right?"
Yeah. It's got like 20 different light settings and 25 different heat settings. It's pretty wild. It goes from like 300 degrees to 800 degrees, so you can just do a full flavor hit or just like murder yourself if you want to.
Dude, so like for people out there that are totally lost with what we're talking about, the Dr. Dabber is essentially like an electric rig.
Yeah, so it's an electric dab rig. It's in competition with like the Puffco Peak, which is also an electric dab rig. But what sets this apart for me personally was the fact that it doesn't have exposed coils that ever have to be replaced. Yeah. So it uses a thick induction coil. and it basically just runs electricity to build a magnetic field.
That's the one you dropped in, right? A little bit ago?
Yeah. So there's the cup, there's like a little titanium cup that just drops into the glass dish that contains the actual coil. And those cups, they're nothing. They're super cheap little cups, and they can be replaced. They even make like sapphire and quartz cups that'll go in this thing.
I feel like I would feel terrible using a sapphire for that, or like maybe I should feel better about it. Like it kind of makes it like a lightsaber in a sense, right? Like I choose my own stone.
Well, it's supposed to be. It's still clear sapphire. It's not like the pretty jewel the way you would imagine.
Or maybe if you're rich enough, who knows, bro? Somebody out there might have like a diamond Dr. Dabber.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because I almost bought diamonds to put in my dab rig once. So you can buy like these small, like the chips of the diamonds that they have left over from when they're like carving diamonds, stuff that you really can't use, but it looks pretty whenever you have a giant pile of it.
Sure, yeah.
And you can buy a decent pile of it for like $100. Nice. And I figured instead of using those terp pearls
that's
inside of my banger,
then they call that like diamond encrusted, typically.
Yeah, but like large grain,
Yeah.
So instead of using the terp pearls that people put in their banger that spin around, I thought about doing a diamond frit where I just fill the bottom of my banger with diamonds and then heat that up because the diamonds have an even higher decarboxylation point or melting point than even the quartz will. Yeah. So you can get that shit just as hot as the quartz, and then whenever you dab, your dab's gonna go through that fritted diamond.
Revolutionary idea, bro. You're dropping fucking
man. That's
you're dropping
bougie shit.
You're dropping dimes in here right now, bro. Because like, dude, if you were able to pull that off, like, say you were able to just like take that powder and just press a diamond banger.
Oh, that'd be wild,
bro. Like obviously do the fancy shit too, because like people are bougie. But like if you could just do a diamond material banger.
Well, I was going to say synthetic diamonds, the ones that are made in labs that are still technically diamond, those are higher quality than even raw diamonds. So you could theoretically like just make a lab one and then mill it down into a banger.
I don't like Monsanto, so I'm going to go. I don't know who's making those blood diamonds, okay?
Man, I had to deliver to Monsanto one time. Oh, yeah? I used to work at a hardware store. I delivered
I was like, did you shit in their food? Cause...
Man, I should know, but it was... That place was fucking frightening, though, dude. It's harder to get into the Monsanto facility than it is to get on fucking the Air Force Base.
Because they're doing some shit.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
There's I was like, dude, if you did a tour of whatever, I don't even care. Pick a Monsanto facility. There's a room where you're like, I don't want to walk into this room.
Oh, yeah. And they're based over in Missouri, too.
Yeah. So. That's where they keep the human clones that we were talking about earlier. Like in prison. In the Monsanto facility.
So I have a philosophical argument that I don't think that companies are inherently evil. I think that the system is just designed to screw people over, but Monsanto is a truly evil company.
I think, and the fact that they're so hand in hand with the government and like they financially control so much is like I think that like
we were talking about all that dumping of chemicals that exactly. Over in East St. Louis and up and down North St. Louis
and they produce a lot of that.
Yeah, my dad actually, he was part of a Harvard study as a kid because he had chemical onset asthma from living over off of River de Pere where there was a Monsanto Agent Orange factory.
Oh, yeah, see, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, and so that's the thing is like, and I know they did a lot for the government in that sense, so they have a lot of favors that they can call in. It's really it's awful to have a corporation that has that much pull or power with anything, especially since I feel like we could bring them up on criminal intent just based on the things that they've produced.
Oh yeah, them and DuPont.
The things they get praised for, and the reason why they're so rich is based on like the destruction of man, essentially. Like in a way, like even their good products are still like toxic and.
Oh yeah, and the soybean thing. I don't know how deep you've dove into the Monsanto soybean.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. They have genetic rights to their soybeans, and every year the patent is they
like a product.
Yeah, they retract. So you basically have to sign a contract to get their
to grow soybeans.
Yeah. And
any soybeans,
and you can't. Basically, they run the whole market, and so it gets deep.
See, but like, aren't there other like variants of soybeans that could be grown?
There are, but this is where things get really fucked up. So what Monsanto will do is, like with the farms that do use their products, you can't save the soybeans from one year to the next because they change the genetic code, and you can't use that anymore. You have to buy the new one. But what Monsanto will do with opposing soy farms is they will set up small farms near them, and soybeans will travel through the air, and they will find. Oh no, we had a little bit of a tumble, but we're still going. But yeah, Monsanto. So they'll set up a little small farm next to these other competing farms that don't use the Monsanto soybeans, and whenever their genetics get blown over into the opposing farm, they'll sue that farm and run them out of business and take over their fucking property.
Yeah, I mean, my bad, I get the mic back on. Yeah, but I mean, so like those, I think that's like something that they've done over a long period of time is like outsource or either employ or outsource America's farmers.
Oh yeah, and monopolized every. And you know what's even crazy?
Because you're either gonna play ball or you don't get fed now.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's wild? I just learned about. And it's probably because agriculture is so heavily government subsidized.
Yeah.
But agricultural workers are the only workers in the United States that are barred from joining unions completely. Federal law. They're not allowed to join unions or form unions.
Yeah, because they don't want them to be protected in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Now, when you got a company like that that's going to come for them, you know, like or has potential to get come for, you know. Yeah, like, so do you think Monsanto had anything to do with like the whole banana thing? Like you heard like...
Oh, like the banana republics with Chiquita bananas?
Yeah, so like the banana that we know and love today is actually like a synthetic cousin of a banana that existed in like a previous...
Probably not. So this is where things get a little weird because I am super pro GMO, but like the way Monsanto does things with their genetic coding and then the Roundup Ready bullshit, that's where that's the real dangerous line, I think, when you start to
explain
cross.
your pro GMO stance.
So with certain GMOs, you can think about it kind of in the same sense with the cannabis industry. You're taking different plants or aspects of plants that seem to have superior genetic aspects to them, like maybe you were able to grow this one tomato 4 times its size with, you know, maybe the same amount of water that a tomato, 4, times smaller would use.
Are you like adding nitrogen to do that, or are you like?
So no, it's basically just like genetic crossbreeding.
Yeah, so like
it's
that's
like
so
crossing strains.
My next question there is like, so yeah, do you believe? Like I was gonna say, how do you feel about synthetic marijuana then? But then also like, I guess in that train of logic that you're using, we're already smoking synthetic marijuana because hybrids are essentially, you know, cherry-picked qualities from other strains that are put together, and you know what I mean?
I wouldn't call it synthetic because it's still going through a natural.
Well, sure, yeah, it's grown naturally.
Yeah, it's not something that's made in a lab.
But like, if
or
we
derived from different chemicals.
So you're saying all GMOs have that level of authenticity?
They have that potential. So yeah, I think whenever it comes
like,
down to when there's
are
actually
there GMOs
huge...
that aren't grown? Is what I'm asking. Like aren't grown. Like these are actually like, you know how like even though like
because they're dangerous or something.
Like strains are made with we obviously like germinate the seeds and then you plant it and then it grows. Mm-hmm. Like is that the same for like a GMO tomato plant?
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, you know, so there's
or do they just like drop a drop on a little red dot and then it just blows up? It's a tomato.
So there's different ways to do it. So there's the less scientific way, but it's a lot faster, which is genetically breeding different plants together or different, like specific strains or like mother plants, like, like I said earlier, if like maybe you have this tomato that grows 4 times the size and you got this one other tomato that's really good at fighting off this disease, you breed them together so you can grow big ass tomatoes that fight off that disease. That's basically a GMO. And on an environmental level, GMOs can actually be extremely useful because you can actually genetically modify plants to be more efficient with their use of natural resources. So
got you. So like essentially like the banana that we enjoy now essentially could be like boosted in potassium.
Oh yeah, it could be way more healthy
compared to the banana of the old world. Because they like the theory that I was trying to say there was like essentially that we're enjoying a banana. The banana that we eat today obviously doesn't taste like banana flavored things for a reason, and that's because the banana flavored things are actually structured to be a flavor profile similar to something that doesn't exist currently.
Yeah.
And it's not the banana that we eat at the store, which is why banana runt does not taste like a banana.
No.
You know, but like I was like, in my mind, like in that sense, I could see what you're saying, and like if there's actually like we boost the benefits, there's a way we could use GMOs for good.
Oh yeah, and whenever you really crack open the can, like so there's. I mean, of course, there are some health benefits to like, organic.
So with on the cannabis end, right? Like what, like CB, like Charlotte's Web style
Yeah.
strains. Like that was in a sense, like they found a medicinal benefit and they pushed like the maximum. Like they did everything they could to draw that benefit out the most that they could. So they did all different things.
Yeah, that's
crossbreeding to get the intended desired
it's
outcome.
GMO through breeding. And it's basically the same thing Native Americans did with maize to make modern corn. Like modern corn, the way that it's been bred, like if people died off right now, like everyone, the corn that is planted right now after the season was over, it would never grow again because corn the way that it sits cannot be grown without human intervention.
But what about maize, like old school?
Maize can still grow wild, but there's not a whole lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we, like you said, I think you pigeonholed it. Like we've industrialized it so much that like it's became something that we're used to seeing.
Yeah,
the corn thing, like we see cornfields go up and down every year. Yeah. But it's at least here in the Midwest, all we got is fucking cornfields. If anybody's listening to this on the coast, or like these fucking guys,
it's fucking corn everywhere.
Yeah, we're surrounded by cornfields.
Man,
have you ever take the drive from the Illinois, Missouri region
like
that
looking.
we're in? Yeah, through to Colorado. You ever did that? You did that drive.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you already know. Like from here to Colorado is just fields.
Well, that's why I fucking completely avoid Kansas. I won't drive through Kansas. I'll go up north. It'll take me longer, and I prefer it still.
Can we just say fuck Kansas Highway Patrol?
Yeah, you know what's even funnier? You know how they say Kansas is as flat as a pancake? It's flatter.
Flatter than a pancake.
It's flatter than a pancake.
It's got some
if you
convex
stretched out
to
a
it,
pancake to the size of Kansas,
Yeah.
it would have more of a curvature than Kansas has.
I wonder the guy who figured that out has way too much fucking time on his hands.
I think somebody with a satellite.
I have a weed podcast, but that guy's got some fucking problems.
He's got a satellite is what he's got.
He's got a satellite. He's got
lasers
and a big
shit.
brain.
Yeah.
And nothing to think about.
He's like, you know what? I'm fucking stoned and eating some pancakes.
You think that's what it was? I would almost feel better about it than like some fucking like nerd who's made it his life mission to find out how flat Kansas is. Like I was like, dude, nobody wants to live in Kansas, let alone look at Kansas for that long.
There's a lot more cannabis users in science than they'll be led on to believe.
Yeah, I think that's becoming more evident.
Yeah, I was gonna say when people are becoming more open and honest about their cannabis use.
Yeah,
because it's not.
You've seen it in higher society. Like once someone reaches a certain level of fame.
Oh yeah.
They start to admitting to their cannabis use.
It makes them more popular sometimes.
Like who's the dude that owns fucking CNN? That dude.
Oh, I don't know.
Apparently smoked some weed back in the day, and like Obama, he admitted to
smoked,
it. Yeah, like Bill Clinton, I didn't inhale or whatever. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Bill, come on, man, you play jazz saxophone. Get out of here, bro.
Kamala Harris, the vice president, she smoked.
She
allegedly smoked. There's some controversy. I mean, maybe she was just fucked up and she doesn't know it. She's talking about her time frames.
I think
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
I think she's trying to be cool.
Oh, well, she's definitely trying, but I don't know that she probably did like take a hit off a joint at some point.
I hope so.
Like freaked out, like, oh my god, I got the munchies.
Yeah, like that, and that's unfair because then you later become a person of position of power.
That Kamala Harris is
judging
what I call her.
Other people. Yeah, I mean, I voted for her.
Oh yeah,
I think
that was the fucking.
We said it the other day. Joe Biden's best quality is that he's not Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's the only fucking redeeming quality he had.
And I'll end it on that thought. But yeah, she's definitely not like I don't hate her. Actually, I was kind of bugged by how receptive I naturally was of her. Like once she gave speeches, I was like, oh, she's intelligent. She speaks well, and like she's saying the right things. You know what I mean? But that's like when you put aside her lifelong career in law enforcement.
Yeah, like
and it's not that I'm against law enforcement. I mean, there's a time and a place, but like that the policies that law enforcement on all levels has been forced to enforce essentially has been systematically racist, and for her to be a person of color is kind of like, wow, like you advocate for that though.
Yeah, and
you know, and like I can't judge you on it as a white dude, but at the same time, like you put a lot of people behind bars.
Yeah, the part the part that put a really bad taste in my mouth about her was there was some clip where she was like laughing about locking up parents for child truancy, like cracking down on truancy to the extent that she would lock up the parents if the kids would continue to be truant to school. Like,
Crazy.
That's insane.
Well, yeah,
like,
because you got to realize, like,
these
yeah,
parents have already got-
there are a lot of shitty parents.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
There's no doubt about that.
Not all the kids that don't go to school have shitty parents. Like there are
No.
some kids that are just shitty kids.
Yeah, I was a dickhead kid. I mean,
Yeah.
I skipped school a lot.
Yeah.
My first semester
I
of
was
my
too
freshman
scared.
year, I had 0 credits.
Yeah, I was too scared.
Too scared to skip?
My senior year, I skipped a lot, but like, I was way too scared, bro. I was afraid that they would call my parents, and you know, my dad wasn't real strict. My mom wasn't super strict either. He was a preacher though, so like there were certain like I just knew not to get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it was interesting. But once I started smoking weed, it kind of, I obviously did it in private a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that I wasn't ashamed of it or whatever, but like I just didn't want to get caught because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the older I got, the less I worry about that. And
I was 16 when my parents found out because neither of them smoked weed, but I ended up with a respiratory infection. And the doctor, like, I smoked cigarettes at that point in time too, so I started smoking cigarettes a little bit before weed. I never finished how I started smoking
chain
weed
smoke
story,
cigarettes on
yeah.
the way into your house so you don't smell like weed.
I'm like, my friend's parents smoke, Mom.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. And I hid it for such a long time, and like
You were
I
hiding
didn't want
cigarettes?
Yeah, I was hiding cigarettes too because my mom had quit smoking like 3 years before I picked it up.
They knew.
Well, like they suspected, so like it wasn't until I was 19 that they knew, and that was a blow up fight. That was a huge.
Oh,
issue.
okay. So there was a fireworks. So you know when they knew
The moment, yeah, I know
Got
the
you.
very moment because
Got
I was 19 years old when they found out, and I was still living with my parents. And my mom kicked in my door. She like found this little SD card that was in one of my old phones. Yeah, with a picture that someone had snapped of me smoking a cigarette.
Oh, those boobies or what?
No, it was me smoking a cigarette. That's all it was. Like, but my parents knew that I smoked weed, and like they knew since I was 16, and they never had an issue with it. Really, like their biggest issue with weed was that it was illegal. You know, they didn't really
Yeah.
have a big issue outside of that. They didn't want me to get.
Legalities aside, I would rather get caught with porn than weed as a young man.
Oh yeah,
It's a much easier conversation, unfortunately.
Porn. I mean, that's an easy
your
one.
mom's heartbroken, but your dad's gonna understand on some level.
No, my parents would both be pissed because it would be internet porn, and if they found
Sure,
out, it's
that's
because
what I mean.
I crashed the computer. My
Oh
parents.
yeah, I remember I was in the LimeWire era,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, my dad actually
I
came.
never
home.
crashed a
He
computer.
came
with
home one
LimeWire.
time. He didn't catch me with my pants down, but he came home one time, and I like ran downstairs, and he like looked up like Insta history and like found, and I was like it was like big booty bitches or something
Big
like
booty
that.
bitches.
Yeah, and like it was just like such like a thing.
.org.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it was just like something a 12-year-old would search.
Yeah.
You know what I
Something
mean?
Silly, yeah.
And yeah, man, that was the first time I remember that. Like that was embarrassing. It was really embarrassing, but it wasn't as bad as like whenever I really first time got caught smoking weed and almost got like kicked out of the house and fucking
Oh.
like
I knew it wasn't gonna be like that. I had a much different upbringing than most kids. Like my parents, so my dad's straight edge. So my dad doesn't smoke or do anything. My mom had smoked maybe once or twice, but
If I say my dad's never been high, never been drunk, so I can kind of relate to that. Oh, I don't know if
Yeah.
he's never been drunk. He's definitely never been high, and he's never been drunk. He's been buzzed.
yeah.
He's
Same
like
with my dad.
He's like had a couple Mike's Hards in his day.
I've never seen him drunk or buzzed, but it's happened to him. My dad said he gave up drinking for the most part when he was like 21, just when whenever he had to start buying.
My
it
dad
on
said he
his
was
own.
more fucked up off those 1-to-1 fucking edibles I gave him.
Oh, those will do it, man. That's that full body right
It
there.
was the Sweet Stones.
But my parents are old, like punk rock anarchists, so I knew
That's
like
dope.
certain aspects would be fine. You know, like I had weird parents. Like I wasn't allowed to watch the Power Rangers as a kid, but they took me to see Dogma in theaters.
Oh yeah. I mean that's because like what they. I mean
I'm like 6 years old.
you're obviously your own person even now. You know what I mean? Like they raised you to be like a strong-willed person with your own opinions and
Yeah.
And so like subjecting you to that is not as dangerous as subjecting someone else to like that's gonna like internalize that and like, oh, this is how I should act, instead of like, using your parents as an example of like, how you should feel and act and conduct yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like people do harp on like entertainment in negative ways, but I do not believe that like video games cause mass shooters.
Oh, not at all.
You
not
know,
at
like
all.
what the fuck? You know?
No, that's and it's besides some recent years just because of the unrest and there's a rise in right wing white nationalist terrorism in the United States over the last 5 years that we had witnessed.
They're still here. They just wear badges.
Oh
now.
yeah, they always have. That's why you don't see many cops that patrolling the KKK protests because everyone's marching.
Right. Those are the good people, though, right? Yeah, come on.
But anyway, so like violent crime overall, besides the last handful of years, has been trending down since like the 80s and 90s. And I have a theory that a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't use leaded gasoline the way that we used to, because we were actually talking about lead before in a different context. Causing people to go insane and causes violent outbursts of rage. What do we got there? What do we got here?
I'm gonna let you finish your thought. I'm gonna pass you this. We're getting ready to do some dabs out of the Dr. Dabber while we're bullshitting. And
here, let me put this through the auto. This thing's got auto cleaning mode. Let me show you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's gonna clean it up. So it's got like this auto clean mode. This is the Dr. Dabber we were talking about earlier. It's like the auto rig. We get off on our little tangents, but he's gonna auto clean it. It's like essentially he's just gonna like, does it heat it up or does it flush it?
It just superheats the that cup and
So
burns
it burns everything
out.
off, and then you can taste new strains if you wanna.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna dab right now is by a company called Revolution. They produce some of my favorite products that I've tried out of the dispensary in recent months. And this strain is called Florida Orange. It is a hybrid of key lime surprise and clementine. And yeah, it's looking pretty fucking tasty, to be honest with you. It is an indica dominant hybrid. We have live resin butter here, and it's looking a little saucy. I don't know if it's just because it's hot outside or what it is, but I'm definitely excited to try this, especially through that. It says small batch premium extracts. So essentially what does that mean? Small batch.
It means that Revolution likes to charge you extra money for bullshit marketing.
for a bullshit term. So you're like small batch. Like, it was a small batch,
nug run.
Yeah, we only had that. Yeah, is it a nug run though? That's the question.
It's not a nug run, not that one.
It smells fantastic.
They'll let you know when it's a nug run because it's a fucking $100 gram.
Yeah, no shit, right? I haven't tried that yet, but I'm excited. I'm definitely going to. I'm going to go for it when it comes, but, try it on the air maybe. But yeah, this is Revolution Florida Orange, and we're doing this live resin butter out of the Dr. Dabber.
Bathroom break.
Yeah, we're taking a short little bathroom break. We'll be right back. Yeah, we'll load up this Dr. Dabber, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Bathroom breaks are essential.
Yeah, buddy.
Sometimes, you got to tinkle and stuff.
Yeah, I drink too much soda,
Too much soda?
Yeah.
We were talking about soda earlier. Is the Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, yeah.
Tell the people about the prune juice.
Yeah. So prune juice is one of the 23 notorious flavors or famous flavors. But back in the day, you could Dr. Pepper was actually used if you'd heat it up, and then it could be used as a laxative. Well, one of the things that Mr. Pibb does is they actually add a flavorless and odorless laxative to their soda in order to mimic the way Dr. Pepper feels in your stomach. So it has that same heaviness and because Dr. Pepper does sit a little different in your stomach than the way some other sodas do. It's not a bubbly, it's a heavier, denser soda.
We can add this to the list of reasons why I don't drink Dr. Pepper.
It's fucking fire. I live off of it.
I dislike all 23 of those flavors.
They're all delicious.
You know how mad I am when I go to McDonald's, right? And I get a Coke, because why else would you go to McDonald's other than to get their Coca-Cola or the High C, right? And then
they got baskets of fries now.
Yeah, I saw that. It was $2 or something.
It was $3 the one I went to.
But they got the fucking, occasionally I'll order a Coke and they give me a Dr. Pepper. And the level of disappointment that I have whenever I'm going to take the first drink of my Coke and it turns out to be Dr. Pepper is I I curse the name of Dr. Pepper every time.
I mean, nobody wants to drink a soda that they think is one thing and turns out to be another. I mean, that's not pleasant. I mean, if I was going to take a drink of Coke and it ended up being Pepsi,
it's always
it would
Dr.
fuck me
Pepper
up.
though. I love Pepsi.
I like Pepsi more than Coke, and it would still bother me if I went to go drink Coca-Cola and it was Pepsi.
Maybe we're getting down to we're breaking me down psychologically on why I don't like Dr. Pepper. It's like
it's McDonald's fault.
It's based on a plague of disappointment.
Man, McDonald's is fucking up. I watched a little doc on why McDonald's doesn't have ice cream ever. That shit's wild. It basically boils down to capitalism is the reason why you don't have ice cream at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, it's a fucked up deal going back to like the ice cream machine manufacturer that they go through. They have a special contract with them, and franchisees have to use a specific machine from them, and that machine can't be diagnosed from the workers, and it costs $300 for the first hour to get the technician out there. And then $100 for every 20 minutes that he's there.
So when it's down because they have to pay buku money to have this dude come out and fucking do the damn thing.
And what it ends up being is whenever it goes into its cleaning cycle overnight, the way that it works is that it superheats everything, including the ice cream material that's inside of it, to make sure that that is still clean and fresh. Because you can just heat that up, basically cooking it, and then refreeze it, and it'll be good for the next day. And even if it doesn't reach that optimum temperature by 1 degree, it'll lock down the machine until you run it through that cleaning cycle again. And usually it's just because there's a little too much ice cream in the machine for it to hit that full temperature. So
I've always been super angry at them, just thinking that they're lazy.
Yeah, no, and it's it's because McDonald's as a corporation is screwing their franchisees, honestly,
and their employees, right? Because they get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, the employees and the franchisees
they get cussed out and fucking.
Because McDonald's doesn't pay those fees. The franchisee owner or the franchise owner has to pay them.
Yeah, man. I always I always kind of have an attitude too when the person's like, "Our ice cream machine's down." They don't say it happily because they've been having to say that all night, and then. There's always that one guy in front of you that was like, and you want 15 an hour?
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not my fault. There's a guy that comes and...
I was going to say Jack in the Box and Burger King use the exact same company, but different machines.
I love Jack in the Box.
Yeah, and the company that makes the machines are based out of Illinois here.
I love Jack in the Box so much, I'm glad there's not one closer to me.
I mean, I'm burnt on Jack in the Box. I think I'm done with Jack in the Box. Besides those churros are pretty damn fire. I'll still go for those.
I'm about the tacos though too.
Man, I can't get behind the tacos anymore.
Light lettuce, extra cheese, bro.
I can't get behind them anymore.
Yeah,
I got a lot of good Mexican restaurants that are not expensive by my house though. So I mean,
it's like drunk people's delight though, right? Like when you're smashed, there's something about 10 Jack in the Box tacos.
You want to hit this up?
Yeah, dude.
Dr. Dabber.
We're gonna fucking do these dabs. So let's just talk about the packaging a little bit.
Yeah. Let's check out these dabs. I have.
We just cut open this box. The Florida Orange total cannabinoid content is 82.01. That is broke up by 2.13% THC, 75.33% THCA, 0.23 CBD, and 0.51 CBDA. This package is teal in color. I don't know how specific you guys want me to get. You can't see it, so I'm gonna read it to you
small cube,
like you're blind. And like I said, it's key lime surprise, clementine, indica dominant live resin butter. I think that the packaging looks slick. It's attracting to the eye. I think that, it definitely worked on me. I mean, I buy Revolution. I got a sleek little logo, and it looks good.
It's got kind of like this teal isn't like the kind of teal that I would imagine that 50s kitchens would have had, but after 50, 60 years of having that teal, that's kind of what it looked like. Like it's been a little weathered, maybe a little darker. They might have smoked a few cigarettes, a few blunts.
Yeah, I like that.
It's got some weatheredness to it. Yeah, I like the color. It's a good color.
And this strain, when you open it, I know it's just a live resin butter, but it's funny because it's called Florida Orange, and when you smell it, you kind of see why they called it that. It's very reminiscent. It has a citrusy, orangey smell.
That is very citrusy.
It smells
looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like orange juice almost.
That smells like straight up clementines and
don't it?
Like lemongrass.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Yeah, so we're gonna dab some of this. Go ahead and get a little. Here, you can do it, my man. Get like a little healthy glob. I bought it for the podcast, so we'll fucking.
No, I'm having my
Did it fall over?
Yeah, I ran into it.
It's all good.
But I got a balance.
You caught it pretty quick.
Yeah. So there's different ways we can do this. So I could load this up cold, and we can start it up cold, or I could put some on the dabber, and you can hit it like a normal dab. You just put it in there, swirl it around, then put the carb cap on.
Yeah, let's load it up cold and then just share it.
Cold, yeah.
And then just share it, yeah. Like just put enough for like a couple of us to get a couple good fucking rips, and then we'll try this other one. I got some extracts from Bedford Grow as well.
Bedford is delicious.
Now this is called Ain't One. And I wish I knew all the facts. This dude named Joshua that we work with told me a whole bunch of cool shit about Ain't One. And essentially, like it came from a plant called One, or The One. And it was called that because there was a specific strain that was grown, but I don't know, like a local cultivator had this one strain that he'd been growing for like 40 years or something. I'm probably butchering this story, by the way. But essentially, there was this one version of that plant that it was more sativa than the others, and he called that strain The One because it was different than the other versions of that strain that he had been growing for so long. And essentially, like this one comes from another plant in that, and it's a 60-40 hybrid, indica heavy 60-40 hybrid, and I'm looking forward to it. Bedford Grow, I actually bought that at Ian's suggestion.
Yeah.
And so we'll try that next. But right now we're doing the Revolution Florida Orange and Dr. Dabbers. I wish you guys could see it, man. I'm gonna get like some GoPros and we'll get that shit going for y'all. But while he's getting that going, we do have an important topic tonight. The part of the reason why I invited him on was just there's some changes going around, not only in our workplace, but just in the cannabis industry in general. And it's not even changes that are new, so to speak, because this concept has been around for a long time, and it has existed and currently exists in many different industries. And so we're going to talk about both the cannabis industry, and we're going to talk a little bit about unionization. How I fucking say that? Unionization.
Yeah, unionization.
Within the cannabis industry. And my friend Ian here is he's a gentleman and a scholar, but he also happens to know a lot about this particular area. So I'm going to start it off by just asking you, like, Ian, what does unionization mean to you, not only in terms of cannabis, but in general?
Yeah, so unionizing in general to me, it means stability, and it's something that gives you a clear idea and path of where you're going and how you're going to grow within a company, you know. So, and it also gives you legal grounds in order to fight whenever things really aren't right. You know, sometimes whenever you're dealing with employers, I mean, you could have the greatest employer. Yeah, it's delicious.
That flavor profile. So I didn't mean to cut you off. It's a very important part, but we are reviewing this as well. And
Dr. Dabber. I'm getting that Florida orange. I'm about to take a fat rip real quick.
Yeah, turn up that heat a little bit because I didn't really get any smoke, but that flavor is fucking dank.
We're going to 500 degrees.
That's cool, man. Fuck me up, bro. Beat me up, Scotty. I had to mute my mic because it was a lot of bubbles. I mean, the condenser mic, there's not much you can do over there, man. So, but I was surprised how much this mic was actually picking it up. I was like, damn, like you're talking and I can hear those bubbles.
But, that's delicious.
So, I know it's a relative, like, and you're right about a lot of the, I guess that would be some of the pros that you've explained about that come with the unionization. A lot of it is stability and guarantees and
and what it means to be in a union itself to me is like I don't look at, and I get a little bit deep with this, and I kind of view government the same way. Like I don't view unions as institutions that just operate in the background. It's more of like a principle. That you will be united when it comes time to handle things like, issues that employees might have with workers and make sure that people have a fair ground and it's not just, a David versus Goliath kind of, situation. You can't have a union if people aren't unified, if people aren't willing to step up and do the work, contact the union, file the grievances, and call out inappropriate things when they see them.
Yeah, and I think just like as a general thought for me, real quick, I just think that like it's a common misconception that pro union means anti corporation.
No,
Because
yeah,
like it should be a hand in hand thing, right? Like it should like both of those entities should be working together to better the workplace for the worker.
yeah. So right now here in one of the union representatives that I work closest with, John Reichland, he was telling me about another dispensary here in Illinois that has actually entered into a union peace agreement.
Yeah, isn't Cresco like I know that
They're union, but they fought.
their cultivation.
Yeah, their cultivation as well as one of their dispensaries.
Oh, they have a dispensary as
Yeah,
well,
yeah, one or two actually.
and they are unionized.
Yep. The Sunnyside dispensary in up in Chicago.
And so like
GTI also has unionized workers at their Windy City dispensary.
so this isn't a completely new concept as far as the cannabis industry goes.
No. I was gonna say nationwide, there's over 10,000 workers in the cannabis industry that are already under union contract, and here statewide, we have 5 dispensaries that are have won union elections.
Interesting. So like if I was actually comparing say like apples to apples, or like two recreational states within, skewed apples to apples because of the laws here in Illinois, on tax rates and stuff are a lot different. But like if I was comparing Illinois and the amount of cannabis workers in Illinois that are unionized versus the amount of cannabis workers in Colorado, per se, that are unionized, it's a lopsided comparison.
Yeah, and maybe not quite as lopsided with Colorado, because Colorado does face some similar instances.
Yeah, well, because
that you'll see.
corporate America kind of rushed there, didn't they?
Yeah, corporate
It was like
America.
the gold rush.
Yeah, as well as the way their laws were originally based. Like I think all the cannabis had to be grown by the actual dispensary, so the dispensaries would only carry their brands of cannabis for a long time. But then you have states like Oregon, which have like the absolute easiest and most lenient cannabis laws. It's actually much more of a buyer's market than anything, because almost anyone can get a license, and it really is like small farms that grow a product, and then they have to find dispensaries to carry it. One of the issues we have here in Illinois is it's a limited license market, and it costs millions of dollars worth of non-refundable fees just to even apply to get a dispensary license.
And see, I think that's what happens, right? Like when we have capitalism without representation, like without like once you tell a capitalist he doesn't have to adhere to any code of conduct as far as how and essentially that's what we have here in America is rampant capitalism. It only goes as far as the corporate entity wants to go.
Yeah.
Because literally they can purchase any rights and make employees sign away their own rights just for that's cool. We'll load up some more.
Yeah, it's probably got one more good hit in it if you want to.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm fucking this Dr. Dabber is getting me now. It was too low at first, and now I'm fucking
Just a little bit.
it's all good. I mean, you smoke out of it more than I do, man, so yeah. We'll probably come back to that, but I definitely want to try this other Bedford Grow as well. So, on the tip of like with the unionization thing, in the cannabis industry, I'm not even talking about this specific union. It seems that even it being like we talked about the green gold rush in Colorado that happened whenever recreational started going so well there. And all those fucking, white collar capitalist fucking rich kids ran there and decided to open up a dispensary.
Yeah.
And essentially that's what we're having here in Illinois as well. And I mean, it can only be expected. I talked about this on the little episode I'm about to drop tonight from last night, was just that like I'm conflicted in that, right? Like as a person that enjoys cannabis, and now I'm able to have it legally and recreationally. I mean, I have a medical card, but I am able to enjoy it recreationally to the point where, as a person that is indica sensitive that enjoys sativa, I am able to choose sativa as to where I didn't have that before. I'm very thankful for these things. But also I know that if we're going to get there, as far as federal legalization, and even in states, like even if we can just fuck federal, if we can get all 50 states to legalize without federal legalization, like I think it's possible in the name of capitalism, right? Like if it's gonna be money, if anything's gonna get it done, it's gonna be money. So
that's what's been keeping it from moving as money.
Yeah, and then that and honestly, but like, and we talked about how much it's grown in 1 year.
Oh yeah.
So in a sense, it's pushing the pace as well, right? Like we talked, off the air, we talked about like some, there's like some monopolies going on in the cannabis industry in every state. And it's just because, like you said, they're only. It's the same way they did at the beginning of prohibition, right? And they make it illegal. They make it illegal to grow, and then they say, well, you can only grow if you have a license. The only problem is they weren't handing out any licenses, and so the first farmer that got busted with a field, he got busted with a joint. He got a field full of hemp, not cannabis. He got busted with a joint. Because I think out of every 100 of his plants probably produce flowers. He found that one and he rolled a joint. Like, it's old school. He's a farmer, bro. Like, he got arrested and went to prison. And so like essentially that's pretty much what they got going here now. We're not saying it's illegal. We're saying that you have to have a license to do it, and unfortunately you need to have millions of dollars
to get that license.
To not only get the license, but to afford the whirlwind of financial
scrutiny
bullshit that we're about to put you through. The fucking gauntlet of just financial desperation.
Oh, yeah. They got in trouble because they didn't hand out the number of licenses they were supposed to hand out, even.
Because not everybody can afford them. How many millionaires are there in the world that want to move to Illinois?
Well, not only that, a lot of the people that could afford them, like a ton of people got rejected last year in 2020. And they just recently passed a law that's supposed to fix all of that. And hopefully it's actually going to be changing the rules on medical patients having to switch their dispensaries around, and they won't have to do that after the 21st or anything like that. Hopefully, that's the plan.
It's a dumbass. Sorry, I'm dying over here off the Dr. Deborah.
Dr. Deborah will get you.
It got me. That's a dumbass rule.
Yeah.
The dumbass rule. I actually kicked around the ball on the thought that, like, if Missouri legit, like, has some really good weed here in the next, like, couple years, as a medical patient, I might go over there to purchase. If the deal's good enough, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see why not. They're not going to tax us hard. Yeah.
Missouri, they've set their laws up a little bit more like California, too. The way they, California...
Sorry, guys, this is what you get on a stoner podcast. We're going to...
I'm just going to die.
We jump around and we cough, so there you go. I'm sorry, man. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, Missouri, they had set their medical up pretty similar to the way California set their medical up. So you're going to see, I think, a lot more businesses over in Missouri and a lot more dispensaries. A whole lot more dispensaries.
Is weed legal in Hawaii?
I don't think so, no.
Like, what's stopping you?
In Hawaii?
If you're Hawaii, why?
They probably have medical. I think they have
but
medical.
you're in fucking Hawaii. You're technically an island.
Let's look this up. We're gonna.
Yeah, you can use Google. That's fine.
Google this.
We don't have a Jamie. This isn't Joe Rogan. So, hey, Jamie, look that up. Bro, I'm gonna try not to cough for the rest of this episode. But fuck.
It's difficult. That Dr. Dabber. I mean, it rips. I think we got it at 600 degrees right now.
God damn. Okay. All right, we're back.
Kinda.
All right, man.
It's decriminalized there, and medical was passed in 2000.
Okay. So decriminalized, so at least you're not,
no one's getting locked up for it.
They're not saying.
No, but it's probably like a $300 fine.
I'm sure they still use it as an excuse to, like, rape you.
Oh, yeah.
Legally.
Probably.
Just because it's decriminalized doesn't mean I can't search your car if you got a bag of weed.
Oh, and like I said, it's probably a hefty fine still.
Yeah. I mean, they're still American cops, too, so I'm sure they, like, search people more often than they should, But, when it comes to, like, we'll get back on the track of this unionization shit. So, if like, I guess, like, some of the drawbacks, right, were to be, like, since the thought of unionizing, I'm so high. The thought of unionizing a cannabis industry company essentially is a new concept because the industry is a new thing. Mm-hmm. And it's in its infancy. I mean, like the cannabis industry, like obviously California and Colorado and like Washington, they've had more time to develop,
Their systems.
Yeah, like and Illinois is like still really young, but like the whole thing as a whole is still really young. Like even if 20 years, cool, but 20 years, you know how much changed in 20 years? Like weed 20 years ago is not like weed today, and like I try to tell people that, like if they haven't smoked in 20 years, I'm like, it's a different thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's one of the issues that I've already had with the industry now, because it's only been like the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or whatever that people have been saying or have been worried about, like the Marlboros of cannabis or the Walmarts of cannabis. Within the last, especially with the legalization here in Illinois.
I mean, that terrifies me. That's coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, it's here. I mean, most of Illinois' market is run by either ex-hedge fund managers or ex-bankers. Like Deutsche, the person who runs our company is, one of the ex-VPs of Deutsche Bank in some branch here in, I think New York. The person who runs Ascend, he's a hedge fund manager. Like these people don't have backgrounds in cannabis; they have backgrounds in capital, and they don't.
Essentially, it makes sense. Because like I'm sorry. Because like once the numbers exist, right? Like we can look at Colorado's numbers and see not only how profitable they were, but how quick the rate was of rise in profits.
Oh yeah.
And people that moved there, and the homeless population, and like all of these things started happening. But they like fixed their roads and they built their better schools.
Oh yeah.
They did a lot of shit with that money. Now that is to be seen, I mean, it makes sense that these capitalist fucks are going to come running. And I only despise them because they despise me. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess like a lot of people listening to this would see like, oh, but he's not giving in these capitalists a chance. And it's not that I despise capitalism. I believe that it like everything requires a balance, right? Like capitalism and socialism should like hold hands and be like level with each other in an ideal world. The problem is like capitalism knows no bounds.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I believe in mixed market economy, and that's kind of what we have. It's definitely heavily pushed towards capitalism right now.
Well, that's just because, like I said, it has no bounds.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
and
like you allow them to, you give them an inch, they take fucking 3 miles, and then pay you for it.
Well, like whenever we were talking about Monsanto earlier, like I had made that point that philosophically, I don't really believe that companies are inherently evil. So with the system. Capitalism itself, I mean, it pushes these companies to their only goal is to make as much money as possible. And with some of these companies have fiduciary responsibilities to their shareholders, so they technically, if they don't like uphold that responsibility and basically screw over workers in any possible way, screw over workers and consumers. Board members can be like, well, you didn't uphold your fiduciary responsibility because you could have cut this corner. You're out. We'll pick a new CEO.
And you're talking about profits versus like people.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I think unions are important is because it takes some of the control out. Because so it's really interesting that we live in a so-called democracy. It's not democracy.
If I could just interject for a second, I would just like to say that I'm glad that it doesn't take all of the power away from the company.
No. I mean, it just puts people at the bargaining table with the company.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a bridge, right? Like, like we couldn't get there, and then like our company's there, but then like they build the bridge for us. And I think that you're right. Like it puts power behind the people, in a world where like it is profit driven and like we often, not even in this industry necessarily, or even where we work or anything like that. I'm just saying in general, I've worked so many places where I've just felt disposable, like completely disposable. Mm-hmm. And it's not that like what you do is your existence, right? Like what you do is not who you are, especially if you work a job that is not your passion.
Yeah.
So like what you do is not who you are, but it definitely affects the type of person that you become in the long run. And so if you spend every day hating what you're doing, like that has a mental effect, and I've always like resented the fact that like I felt disposable at jobs that I'm putting my time and my effort into, and I get really good at doing fucking all these jobs, sandwich making and fucking I learned how to like wire alarm systems and shit. I did like hours and hours and like stayed up late nights and research watching people do shit I've never done before to learn how to do that. And truth be told, I didn't mind quitting to go to the dispensary at all because I was passionate about weed.
Yeah.
And I'm not passionate about alarm systems. And I don't know anybody that really, I've met a couple of people that work there that have been there like 20 years. Where they might be passionate now because of like forced practice and like you just like know 20 years of knowledge about alarm systems, but like nobody's like, fuck yeah, when I go home I like to tinker with that fucking SafeWatch 2020, you know, or that fucking, you know, I gotta play with that fucking Honeywell, dude, like when I get home. No, dude, like it's a thermostat, leave it alone, Ron. You know, like I don't know, like, you know, like it's not like my guitar. You know what I mean? Like where like it gives me joy when I play it. I just I think like doing shit like that for money is a lot different. But like, you know, like nobody's passionate about that. So like when you do that, and you know, I find myself just like I quit and they replace me tomorrow. And so in the same sense, if I die, which I'm giving you moments of my life, and hopefully making a connection with people I work with, so it's at least worthwhile in some way, shape, or form. I like to make some friends out of it. You know, like in that sense, you know, like I'm putting time into it. I want to get something out of it. And if I know you're going to replace me, or if I feel like you could replace me, or it doesn't matter if I'm here, then I have no motivation to come here all the time. Yeah. Like 6 months in, bro, like I know me. And this is like a negative trait of mine that I'm like straight up admitting to. I don't have low work ethic. What I have is selective temperament, and so while I'm pretty passive aggressive and quiet most times about problems, and I will smile and say what's up and all that shit, you know, like one day I'm gonna speak my mind, and you know, when it gets there, like dude, 6 months in to working anywhere that I don't like working, it has nothing to do with work ethic. I've spent 6 months getting good at working at Jimmy John's, for example. You know, and I fucking hate myself because it's not music. I'm doing nothing with music. I'm working 8 hours a day, fucking making sandwiches for people that hate me. And
it's not,
and I'm wasting hours of my life here.
And you'll never be passionate about making those sandwiches either.
I fucking love Jimmy John's.
Do you?
Like I do. I love Jimmy John's, bro. And I did not mind working there. It was fun. And like it was so funny because like I got like my first day I like snapped on this like 16-year-old girl, thought I was gonna get fired because she like snapped on me. Like I wrapped a sandwich and accidentally used 2 papers, and she was like, we only use 1. And I was like, bitch, it's a fucking paper. Like, what is the problem? Like I was having a really bad day, bro, and she like caught me off guard, like snapping on me, and I'm like, I was like, you're like 16, get out of my face. Like I didn't really call her a bitch, but like I definitely got sassy with her. I can't remember what I said. Anyway, they talked to me. He was like, well, we're gonna put you on night shift. And I was like, okay. And I came in and I was like the only white dude. It was fun. It was a good time, man. I really enjoyed the friends that I made working there, and like the night shift was totally different. They would like they would throw your sandwich right from the table to the window, and if I'm working the window and I don't catch the sandwich, it's 10 push-ups, right?
Oh, shit.
And the listeners can't see this, but I'm fucking 300 pounds almost. And push-ups are, like, not a thing I do every day. It's not like something I'm like, oh, yeah, wake up, do 10.
No, yeah, I'm like 155, 160 pounds, and I'm not trying to do 10 push-ups.
I don't weigh myself because I'm scared, but last time I checked, I was 285, and that's not cool. And then most of it's fat. Like, I'm not muscular at all, people. Like, I got a low voice, but this is, I just was blessed. You know, the thing about the you know, I don't like work out or do any of that shit, and I need to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I need to skate more.
Yeah,
I need to skate more. We got on another tangent. We were talking about the union stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying, so like, any place I feel disposable, it's hard for me to like be passionate at my job, and I think that was the tangent that I got off on. And so, you know, like I think, like while a union doesn't fix that for me as you know, and I'm being very like personal like here. It's not like this is the average worker. I'm saying me personally. If the union doesn't fix that for me, but they give me leverage in a situation where I otherwise wouldn't have had leverage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like while I enjoy people that I work with, you know what I'm saying? Like there's on a corporate level, like they have no responsibility to me
No.
as a person, and like where I'm not even talking about the current job that I have, like in general. Like if I'm making sandwiches at Jimmy John's, like it's the same shit. I could be fired, especially in Illinois, right? Like they got this thing where you're like, I could fire you for any reason.
At will employment.
I don't have to tell you why you got fired.
No reason, no notice.
Yeah. And so like that alone is like enough. Like my homie got fired from the club I used to work at on Thanksgiving morning after we closed the night shift at like 5:30 in the morning. They were like, just don't bother coming back. Like, and he had been working there like 20 years or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Jeez. So like, you know, like it's just like more corporations like that I've been around in the scene. And it's not just there, like bars and all that shit. Like they have no responsibility to workers, especially in this state. There's a lot of paperwork and gray work that, you know, like we just sign, we fly through paperwork when you get hired, bro. You're stoked to get a job and like you need the job, and I'm not gonna say no because of some clause that I didn't read. Yeah. But like all that fine print means some shit. You know what I'm saying? And like if all of us don't individually have lawyers, which none of us bring a lawyer to a meeting, if we're a job interview. You know what I mean? Like, if we did, we probably wouldn't get the fucking job. If you brought your lawyer to a job interview, come on now.
And usually that paperwork is something you sign, like, on your first day.
Yeah,
so, like,
they fly through it, bro. It's like, sign here, flip page, sign here, flip page. Like, I just sign an initial. Like, I don't know. And so, yeah, like, I think, like, it's nice to have some people that understand the fine print more than I do. Yeah. That are just going to bat for me. And it's not, like, from a selfish standpoint, I don't see a negative, like, reason to not have a union to back you in any industry just because of that reason, just to have someone to go to bat for the people in which a situation where the people normally couldn't bat for themselves because they've been opted out, because we've signed ourselves out of like rights and out of like a voice essentially because of your employment. Like we were sacrificing things just to have a job. And it's not that like a union fixes that. You know, but they give you some of it back. It's leverage, right?
Yeah. So they give you some of that back. There's a lot of things that come with unionizing as far as all that's concerned. One of the biggest things that I was going to say, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, was that with the unionizing...
I mean, it's just like for me with the unionizing thing, it's just like, I don't like, you know, I understand that the corporations aren't going to like it because it's not essentially someone telling them what to do, but it's quite a suggestion, like almost like their presence is enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that they're there is enough to keep one company in check, per se. As to where like they have no other responsibility to do so to their workers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's my understanding. And like you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but like I like as far as like from a selfish standpoint, I don't see a negative part with it. Now the corporation doesn't matter the one I work for or regardless. Any corporation's not going to like that.
It's not necessarily
because it's another seat at the table, right?
Yeah.
Like it's another, and like you said, like they create that seat there. But I guess like there are some negative stories pertaining to a union affiliation, but I think it's only like situational bases where like maybe that industry is failing, or maybe there's like a misunderstanding in a certain situation that could like project a negative light, because unions are there to enforce certain aspects, right, more or less.
So they're at least within our dispensary, one of the big reasons people want to unionize is because, like you were saying before, we are in positions where we could easily be cut and replaced. There's so many people applying
just
to be.
Pause that thought real quick. I just want to say, we talked about it like before the episode started.
Yeah,
I have worked some really awful places.
Oh yeah,
you said you have as well. And like I noticed that like those places probably need a union more than the place I'm at now, but it doesn't mean that the place I'm at now does or doesn't need a union.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I think it's like open, like they treat people good, and that's enough. But I mean, and I know there's like situations, but the fact that like they don't have to is what creates those situations, right? Like we can keep good team morale all day, no matter what your job is. You could be making sandwiches at Jimmy John's, right? And you got a happy crew. But like, you know, like those people have to believe in what they're doing, and they have to like believe that it's more than just money.
Well, yeah, and that's another reason why,
Or that they're not going to get canned for forgetting to put lettuce on this fucking sandwich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've definitely had way worse jobs, which is one of the reasons why I personally want to unionize so much, is because I really am passionate about it. Because if it was just a shit job that I hated, because I do love my job. Like whenever I went on the news, one of the very first word out of my mouth is I absolutely love my job, because I do. And that's one of the reasons I want a union, is because I want to solidify that. I want a career. I don't want a retail job.
Facts. And essentially, like, yeah, I feel the same, like in the sense, like, as a person that's like readily undecided, I will say that like that's something that appeals to me, because I relate to that notion. You know, and I that feeling like I'm passionate about cannabis, and I would love to get into this, and I wish that there was more than one avenue than the university. And so but unfortunately the way the laws are structured here in Illinois, that this is a retail job that we're doing. Yeah. And so because of that, like, yeah, there is like a retail job style turnover within any cannabis dispensary, I would imagine.
But the big issue with treating it like a retail job is that with the industry that we're in, people are looking for specific things, and they're spending lots of money, and they want professional information out of their bud tenders.
And the taxation's crazy too, right?
Oh, it's crazy. You're spending good money, and you want to know what you're getting. You want a good bud tender. You want someone who's professional. And that's something that anyone can be trained on. You know, whether you want to hire within the retail realm, that's perfectly fine. I think that, you know, focusing on people that with good customer service that are really good at staying focused is actually brilliant.
Like retail bank tellers and shit like that.
But we don't have any training, and you've seen it, you know, firsthand at our work. And that's one of the things that a union would also make sure is that there's a lot of things that aren't documented within our workplace there's no
but like I just wanted to like be understood that like like that opinion is also not the end all be all, right? Like the union saying like you have to do something a certain way would be for me like a negative that I would assume, you know what I mean? Because like that's situational too, like where like in a case of abuse, like that might be a really good thing. Well, but like in, you know, like maybe in a case of misunderstanding, it's not such a good thing.
Well, that's getting back to one of the things that I was saying about like what unions really mean, because I've, you know, lived in a, you know, union family my whole life, but I've learned a lot about unions through this whole like process of like from the ground up building, you know, this whole campaign. And one of the things that I learned, at least, or got a little bit more familiar with, was the aspect of I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I was correcting him and I fucked him up. It was a good thought. I know I fucked you up. I'm sorry.
But damn, I did lose my thought there.
It's all good. This is another thing that happens on the Stoner Podcast. This happened to me live
I've
before.
Been smoking all day before I got here.
Oh, dude, we're getting blazed, bro. I got some RSO that we haven't even eaten yet for no reason. We should have ate that way earlier. Because right now you're gonna eat it.
So I remember what I was getting to. So the union doesn't actually do anything. So we are the union. So with the contract and everything like that, and what'll be in it, there is no like.
It's the people.
Yeah, there's no cannabis union.
So there is no they.
We're not adopting a contract.
Gotcha. I'm kind of like creating a they, essentially.
Yeah, it's a we.
And it's not. Yeah, and it's not the way to think about it.
If we win the election, the next step in the process.
Who creates the mandate? Is that us?
We do. All of the workers.
Okay, so of the workers. that are within the company that we're
voting
that we're directly speaking about, like whichever corporation or industry it is, right? Mm-hmm. Like within that direct company,
Yep.
It is the people that work there that decide what's best for that company.
Yeah.
Collectively, including the owners and managers and supervision, obviously, and stuff like that.
So that comes later.
Because they work there, right? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not like of to say like, all right, well, their voice is less important than ours, but like my voice is also important.
So it depends on at what point in management. So within our workplace, at least, all of the AICs are included in the union because they don't have disciplinary powers. So they can't hire or fire anybody. They don't have that ability, and they aren't considered management by the company, even though they are supervisors. They're not managers. They don't have that disciplinary power, so they are allowed to join the union. But like the ASMs, the assistant managers, and the store managers, since they have those abilities, they're barred from the union, and they actually don't get any say in union stuff.
No. I'm saying like, but like in the business itself.
In the business, yeah. So it's a negotiation.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, but there is a day and a time and a place and a table and a meeting that like where such bargaining happens.
Oh yeah. So basically, what'll happen,
and that makes it fair to me. Like that makes it like I said earlier. Like it's just for me, it's like someone going to bat. Like but it's like us. Like now that you say it like that, like I was definitely thinking of it like they like all right, this union exists, and yes, we're a part of this union, but somebody runs the union.
It's basically the union. You can think of the union as like an insurance company of lawyers. There are retained lawyers that whenever it's time to enforce our contract.
So what's the head of the union? What's that guy's name called?
What's
his title?
The president of the union.
Yeah, so there's like there's a hierarchy is what the point I'm asking.
So and being union members, you get to vote on all that stuff too. Yeah,
so
you were actively.
So what power do they possess as far as like day-to-day activities?
The president
of the union that like doesn't work at the direct facility. That
so in the direct facility,
I'm just trying to measure the disconnect between the top of the food chain and the workers that are in the union.
So the president, usually what the president of a union will do is they travel around and they deal with like campaigns and stuff like that and promoting and usually like charities and stuff. They do a lot of charity work.
I'm saying, but there must be like certain, at least at the very least, a certain level of influence that they hold on the operations within like all the different unions. Like say they're in charge of a certain regional amount of union.
Well, one of the big things is so it's especially within this part of Illinois, which is actually got some of the largest union represented workers outside of Chicago as far as Illinois is concerned. The UFCW here in Illinois has nearly 40,000 workers. And if they at any point in time like we're like, hey, we need, either a strike or a boycott of, this for solidarity of the workers at, X, Y, and Z at Schnucks, Deerbergs, Beyond Hello, whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that because I definitely want to like reinforce the fact that like this is not a cannabis industry problem. This is like something I've like had problems with and have seen be an issue in every industry I've ever worked in ever.
Yeah. And it's like we were saying earlier, a company's only going to do the minimum of what they have to do, and sometimes they won't even do that.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's
and also to just add to your point, they're going to do the minimum of what they have to do, and they're also going to do whatever they have to do to increase profit. And like we were talking about the cutting corners thing earlier, like that even goes back to like those are people's lives, and we're looking at them like corners because that's on paper, and that's how they have to look at it. You know what I mean? It's like almost in the same sense, like how the government, like you could say, like, oh, it's gross that they look at us like ants. Mm-hmm. How else are they supposed to look at the situation based on the decisions that they have to make? Like they have to look at numbers, and they can't take time to look at every fucking John, Dick, and Harry that absolutely. Like they don't give a shit that I'm a musician. You know what I'm saying? You're good, man? Yeah, but like they don't give a shit, about like any of us individually. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a number in a system, and I think like that's how the corporate mindset has adopted that aspect, and it's very cold. And I'm not, like I said, I'm just not talking about the industry I'm in. I'm talking about like industry in general. Like all the bigger chain places I've worked, even the cool ones, like I said, Jimmy John's and Chipotle, like high turnover, bro. Like low personability between you and, like you get friends you work with. Like I hate the fact that I stayed for years places just because I loved the people that work there. Like I can't get with you guys outside of work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have to work here in order to see you. And in a lot of cases that was true, but like if I made it a true friend, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not, it has nothing to do with the corporation I work for. They didn't do that for me. They created a place where I met a person. But I think like the benefits that I've had for a lot of the larger corporations really didn't have anything to do with anything they were doing or like any significant training I received or any fantastic outlook that was bestowed upon me that would enhance my outlook. You know, like I was never like inspired to, you know, like in honestly, like the company that we work for, they've talked a little bit about it. They're getting into that type of like thought process, and I kind of enjoy that aspect. Like they want opinions. They're kind of like they're looking, and I think they're trying, bro. Like and that's more than a lot of companies that I've worked for has ever done is try.
So I will say, yeah, they've done a lot. There's been a lot of positives
when your feet are right, but when your feet's to the fire, right?
Yeah.
Like you know, so I could see like you know it's like opportunistic, right? Like oh now. You know, now it's a thing, but like at least it's a thing, right?
Yeah. So
like I don't care. Like I don't care how it comes, just that it comes. You know, what's ever best. I mean, and when I say it, like that's what I'm talking about. Like whatever's best for the business, because like that in my mind, having a union should harmoniously and peacefully coexist with the corporate entities in order to make the workplace a better place for the workers and everyone involved and the customers, to make the business more profitable as a whole. Like it shouldn't be a fucking civil war.
No.
You know, and I kind of like as a person, like I said, that's like readily undecided. Like I'm kind of like in the middle, and like it's like kind of like tiring. The like is it right, is it wrong, like you know, like mom and dad are fighting style. Like we're already going into it with a negative, and it's only because the corporations obviously it's not something that they want. Why would they ever want that?
So I have a theory. So even with all the extra
while we're doing this, we're gonna smoke this Bedford Grow fucking 8-1 crumble. It looks pretty crazy. So.
I was gonna say
here, you can load that up
while we'll get that loaded up.
Yeah, but I mean, we're on a good talking point though, because like I definitely want I want you to say anything that you want to get across on the podcast about unionization and specifically in the cannabis industry, because I think that's kind of what is going to pertain to us.
Well, I was gonna say I think it's generally interesting because, like, normally speaking, you know, unionizing would not be beneficial to an employer. Whenever you look at like grocery stores which are unionized, you're looking at, you know, pennies of profit on each dollar of, you know, sold. Within our industry, for every dollar, there's a minimum of $1 profit, $1 to $1.50, because everything's 100 to 150% markup. And that's pretty much industry standard for the most part. And I think that whenever it really comes down to it, unionizing, because we're in a limited license market and where we're positioned in Illinois and being by St. Louis, I think that it's actually going to increase the profitability. And even with all the extra benefits that they might have to pay out, I think their profitability is going to go up because it's going to legitimize our company, because we will people will know, like, okay, the money isn't just flowing out of the state, hundreds of millions of dollars at a time.
I think in there exists the silent threat, right? Is it weird that I'm more scared of the state's policies and laws that could occur or continue to occur than I am corporate or union backlash? Or, well, you know, like
with this state, we're at the current with the current administration in Illinois, we have a highly pro union administration. So if there was ever like a time we were to go on strike, there's a good chance that the local government's going to back the workers publicly. Yeah. And we're in an industry where we have more financial say over, you know, what happens than almost any other industry.
Well, see,
if we were to go on strike,
that's because it's so young, though, right?
Like, well, no, it's also because the markups too. Because I mean, you're talking about and the margins only continue to increase. We break, you know, profit margin after profit margin, month after month. You know, not just in store, but statewide.
Yeah, I mean, they're still figuring out the best way to regulate it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. And so because of that, like the profits and numbers are a little bendable, and like what's expendable or like what should be kicked back to the employees. is debatable just because we're still figuring out what what certain things cost and how much we should tax things at, and
So
Illinois is totally off the Richter when it comes to that. So
Illinois' taxes are really high, but as far as like the profit margins on like just the products alone, so I've been following Jushi on LinkedIn for a long time, and every month since June, they are like, record-breaking profits, record-breaking profits, record-breaking profits. In the last 2.5 months, they've dropped nearly $150 million cash on buying up different dispensaries in different states. And our dispensary, the one that you and I specifically work at, is the number one moneymaker for the entire company because Illinois was their only legal market that they were in up until the last 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, and that being said, I definitely think they're growing. I think their outside efforts are definitely working for them.
And I love that. I love that. I love seeing them grow. We just want to
that
go
helps.
with them.
Yeah, I was about to say that helps me. Gives me the illusion of like some type of false security that could possibly exist. Just based on their success. You know what I'm saying? Like, based on, like, all right, well, if they're not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere as long as I don't fuck it up.
Yeah, well, and that doesn't even matter, though.
But, like,
because I've seen a lot of really talented
just because, like,
people.
I'm within the union doesn't mean I can't get fired for being a fuck up.
Oh, no. If you're a fuck up, you can definitely get fired.
That's my point. Like, it's not only a set of conduct for them, but it's also a set of conduct for the workers.
Yeah, you have guidelines that you have to follow.
As long as that's not too
stringent.
Yeah, like I could see where that could be a problem, but yeah, as long as that's not too stringent, I think we could that's a reasonable expectation.
That all comes down to how we negotiate. So if we win the election, fingers crossed. Yeah, it's loaded up, it's ready to go. Okay. Here, hit that shit.
I'm scared.
I was gonna say, after the election, if we win, hopefully we win, they will start a period where they send out questionnaires to all of the workers that will fill out, and we'll have a series of workers that will basically be a bargaining committee that will get all that stuff together, and the union lawyers will actually put together a contract, and they'll give that contract to all of the workers, and they'll basically tell you, if you don't see your $6 a week worth of dues coming back to you tenfold, then vote no on this contract, and we'll go back to the negotiations, or we'll redraft a new contract, basically. And then once most of the employees agree on a contract that they like, they will give that to the company with the workers. And the companies here in Illinois have all adopted the contracts first time over without any extra negotiations, because like I said, if we were to go on strike, even one day, that could be, $100,000 to $200,000 worth of sales that they lost, and they're not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to go on strike is without having to worry about being immediately terminated.
And that's another thing, is the union can't make us go on strike. It has to be a 2/3 majority vote by the workers.
Like I was saying earlier, I'm actually more scared of the state of Illinois in this sense than I am the union or the corporate entity, because right now, you know what I mean? I look at it and think okay, well, I don't matter, and these guys are gonna make money no matter what, whether I'm here or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm a warm body, no matter what industry I'm in.
Yeah.
Unless I'm passionate about it. I happen to be passionate about weed.
Yeah.
Cannabis in general. I'm enjoying what I'm learning. I'm learning more. And like you said earlier, I enjoy helping people, find things that help them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Within the cannabis realm. I think it's really helping me as a person. I've been mentally better since I've been working at the dispensary. And I don't want people to think we're just down in the dispensary, even the one we work at. Because he said, he loves his job. I legit love my job. It's the best job I've had in a long time. And I would
like to be with Jushi for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. That's why I want to unionize. Because if I just was going to jump jobs, I'd just jump jobs. I can make much more money elsewhere, but this is something that...
You touched on it earlier, but it's about the expectation of a career at the end of the road, and not just a flashbang or a bottle rocket style job.
Our customers and our prices basically demand us to be professionals, but we're not... We don't have any training, and the people who do have the training aren't being rewarded based off of merit, because within our workplace specifically, we have a lot of nepotism. It's just favoritism on after that's the only way to really kind of get a clear path anywhere with inside of the dispensary at the moment.
I would just like to argue that like that's human nature, right?
It is, which is one of the issues, and that's one
Like
of the reasons why
we're all judgmental and we're all fucking a little like we all have that in us, you know what I mean? And like while some of us have more degree than others, and some of those people that have higher degrees get into positions of power just simply because assertive people occasionally make good leaders.
And I understand that you can make the same counter argument to seniority, people getting things just based off of seniority instead of merit, which makes sense too, but I would say that seniority is a much better thing to give someone something over than favoritism,
Yeah. Well, man, I definitely, I'm like I said, I'm still, like, I say I'm readily undecided because that means I've decided to be undecided publicly. And so, it will exist, in its own way, but, like, how I feel is that I see more pros than cons. That being said, I don't hate the place I work for, but I also feel like I don't have to hate the place I work for to want a better workplace.
Yeah, we have a lot of potential, and I think that Juicy can live up to that potential, and I don't think that they would.
I hope they get into cultivating in this state. I hope that like it grows and
100%. And that's another good thing that I think that the union can also do is not just. I don't think that it's going to be bad for Juicy, and I think that what it's going to do is because Juicy is expanding at a rate faster than they honestly know what to do with, and that's kind of cool, but they're also losing track of a lot of things. A lot of things get lost in translation. There's not a lot of structure.
It's a baby industry, though.
That's true.
Like everybody's learning to walk. I think like some people are doing it better than others, but like at the same time, like you were saying, like we talked about earlier from the customer standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
The Beyond Hello Jushy experience is a much better more personal experience now. I don't understand if that's like the hiring or if it's just like the way the line is structured or like how it is, but like from a customer standpoint, it felt more like something I would rather go through than the like you get shuttled and dropped off and you're fucking like rushed through like I don't know, man. It's just it never seemed like good to me, and I just had bad experiences at other places. So I think like they have a lot going for them, and like you were saying, like I think that's why I would like to work there long term. Mm-hmm. And I like while I understand that I don't need a union to guarantee me a long term employment anywhere.
Yeah,
it's based on my work ethic and my temperament and basically like the quality of work I'm putting out. Mm-hmm. I could enslave myself to any corporate entity for a long period of time if I devote that level of energy, but that goes back to like what we were talking about. Like if it gets away from my passion, then it becomes less important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it becomes like I said, I really enjoy the parts of my job that are me helping other people decide what they need.
Well, that's why I think that's why people should vote yes on the union. Just if they are passionate and they do plan on being there for a long time, then it just adds that extra layer of security because people who are passionate they shouldn't have to fear for their jobs. If you're a passionate hard worker, that's not something that should ever cross your mind. And right now, we are in a decent position where they seem to be trying. We've got a decent GM.
Yeah, like I'm
but how long will that GM be there? Because I've had, she's 1 out of 4 good for.
That's how the club was for me too. I went through like a senior director like every 6 months it seemed, but like, I think that's a corporate disconnect too. Rather, they're plugging and playing, and that's really cold because like that's someone's life. I'm not even talking about the corporate company I work for, but like literally, that's like a corporation thing, right? Like,
and they've chopped
like
so
it's
many
crazy how like
because of the
it's crazy
stuff.
how like how many general managers and senior directors and shit like they're the first ones that get replaced when something goes wrong.
They're gonna clean house if we win this union election. They're gonna I bet you a lot of managers are probably gonna go. Chop.
I mean, bro, like
corporate managers. I don't think anyone within the store is gonna get chopped. but I think that
I mean, and honestly, bro, I hope not. Like, I hope it's not like a battle. Like, I hope that like, and I understand like some things are unavoidable because like once you reprimand or like set like like lines,
well,
there's lines that are maybe readily being crossed, and so then there's like an issue. Like, do we stop the way that things are working right now? And if so, then how do we enforce that? You know what I mean? And so, if it's too, like we talked about a battle, if it's too bloody, then I'm out as a person that's undecided, right? And it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Like, I would rather like have current peace and maybe undecided failure in the future than to have like a hostile workplace, because that's less pleasurable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm speaking in a hypothetical manner, like in a worst case scenario where there was like, I'm speaking bloody. I'm being like figurative.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
like
if it was a lot nastier or anything like
yeah,
that,
like you said, like if people that we know, because I don't hate my managers, so like if people that we know get canned because of a union misunderstanding or a union policy like that's enacted right away, it's like almost like wow, like I could see how like that would be perceived
Yeah.
as a negative thing. You see what I'm saying? But amongst coworkers, like you gotta look at it
Yeah.
from someone that's like not pro union for a
Yeah.
sec. Just like if I'm undecided.
yeah, no,
like-
I mean, I don't like people losing their jobs and stuff
At all. Well, and I'm saying it's a bad look from a personal standpoint. Like if someone like a new employee, like we have a lot
Yeah.
of newbies at our job. I'm one of them. So like there's a lot of us, and so like the impressionable people that haven't made up their minds yet, like that could be a negative look. I'm just saying it's a bad look. Like if a manager that they work with every day that they like that person and that person gets canned like right away.
Yeah, but
it's
what
like
does
oh, the union did that. It's like
but it's not the union; it would be the company.
it's us,
So-
right? I understand.
Well,
Like
it wouldn't be us either because we wouldn't be firing managers. What I was saying is I think that the company is the juicy corporate, like they're likely to let go.
you think
of
they're
people.
dropping the hammer because of union affiliation based in the upper ranks or what?
No. I think that if we win if the union supporters win the election, because of the inability of the corporate managers to stop it, because I mean they've been jet setting in all kinds of corporate people from Pennsylvania, from Florida, from all over the fucking place, Colorado. They've been coming from all over.
Yeah, like they're plugging and playing. They're seeing what works. Like eventually they'll find a cylinder that fires and they'll keep that person there. Like I hope, but like like you're saying, there's not a whole lot of hope.
Well, those people aren't there to stay.
Well, that's what I mean. There's not a whole lot of hope as far as that when you see people getting, moved like dirty underwear, like
Yeah.
changed every couple months. So, I definitely see
And
your
none
point.
of their purpose was there to be like there for that. Their purpose was completely there.
Well, my
to be
thing is
anti-union.
like I'm definitely not a child, and I'm an adult worker. And like I said, I'm a hard worker. Like when I need to be, and like I definitely put some pride into my work, no matter what it was. And that being said, like I'm teachable. You know what I mean? Like I'm not so much impressionable, but I'm definitely like a team member. Like I know I can assume my role after I understand it, and I don't have to. I can follow a leader if I have an appropriate leader, and I want that.
Yeah.
No matter where I'm at, like even as a person that's passionate, like I understand I'm not a manager, so like I would, and I need that. And like you said, like I really like our GM, and I like I said, I don't hate any of my managers. So like to me to say like, oh, I want them to get the axe, it's like, oh, that's a little extreme. But
No, yeah,
but like
no.
you're saying like once reprimand,
and I don't think any of them would.
Reprimanding, it comes in different degrees, and it depends on the line that's being crossed, and like you're saying, like it might be on a corporate level, like where none of us even notice, but at the same time, like any shaking up is essentially bad for the bird's nest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you might crack a couple eggs just trying to, get a couple to hatch. You know what I mean? Like
I could see corporate coming after HR, just because a lot of the issues that we had are because HR didn't properly address a lot of our concerns the first time with our last GM, who had issues with like she had sexually assaulted me technically. She grabbed other people by the arm. She put Dakota in timeout. She would always like comment to women about how they don't wear makeup and how weird it was and shit like that. And like, And
yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's like we said earlier, like dirtbags exist everywhere. Like,
yeah.
you're not gonna have a workplace without that, you know. And
No,
like,
no,
there's always a rotten apple, man, and that's fucking shitty. But like,
and that's why I
you
think
know,
they're gonna take the axe to HR, because HR are the people who hired that last
right, bro.
manager.
But they already did that. Like, they're cleaning house
Yeah.
already. Like everybody's training the people that are gonna take their jobs. But it's not an exclusively this place. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not a cannabis industry thing either. It's a core, and this is what I think they really point. Like,
That's why everybody needs to do
I wanted you to
something
talk
about
about unionization, so I could just stress the point. Like,
Yeah.
this is why rampant capitalism is bad, because whenever corporations find out that they don't have any responsibility to do anything for their people, and even more that they can like alter things in their profit in order, and like it essentially fucks their people or puts their people jobless or laid off, you know, in a certain season or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of things that like they can do to bend the will of their workers, and I'm not saying like they as in like one corporation. That's something that like is nationwide.
Well, yeah.
And it's every corporation that's a major corporation's doing it, and the smaller businesses are learning off the big businesses about business practices. You know what I mean? Like eventually,
And they'll have to do that to compete with these big businesses
Facts.
too. And that's one of the big reasons why I support unions in general, is just because it puts people in a position to where they're going to be able to extend democracy into the workplace. So like most of your time you spend awake, like half of your time you spend awake is at work. But you have no say over what you do at work, the money that you make, how the money that you're generating is spent. You have no say over anything. You basically, for 8 hours a day, are under a dictatorship where you were forced to do whatever the company wants. And of course,
it is volunteer, right? But like,
what's voluntary about our economic system?
Yeah,
It's not a voluntary
That's what
system.
I mean. That's what I mean. Like,
know?
we're bound by chains that aren't seen, and like the gun's invisible, but it's on all of our backs. Like, it's debt, and it's something that we accrue based by natural. So like they like usher us into it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they make like I went to college, you know, and I paid to go to like a music college, and I fucked off my first time at SWIC. Like, when I was old enough to care, I went to a music college and I did really well. You know what I'm saying? And like, but like I paid, you know, like I haven't paid anything yet, but I'm in debt way too much for it. And then the place folded. Vaderot doesn't exist anymore. So then like my degree from Nelly's Extreme Institute is a fucking piece of paper with Nelly's signature on it, and nothing more. And so, I just think that like the idea of a school had pushed me into that. That being said, I definitely got a lot of good shit out of that school. I did not know anything technical about recording or I'd never made any beats or did any of the stuff I do now before I went there. And so like I gotta like, but like those are based on the employees, right? Like the teachers, the professors that were there were professionals that had worked in the field, and they were there teaching me hands-on what they had learned. Like they had taught me in 2 years what they had learned in 20. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, it was like a bottled down, condensed version of this.
Their life.
And if you were a willing recipient, you got it. Now, the only problem with that place was that the kid next to me that wasn't a willing recipient and was just went there because he thought it was rapper school, got the same degree that I got at the end of the year, and it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? That was the only problem. And I know from talking to a professor that they would pressure the professors to curb the grade scale so that the kids that weren't doing well were passing, and so that that the school looked good on paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always tell the joke. What do you call the person who graduates bottom of their class in med school?
I don't know what.
You call them doctor. It doesn't fucking matter. They made it through, you know?
Right.
It doesn't matter how fucking piss poor they did.
Absolutely.
They graduated.
I like
you
that.
know?
Yeah, it's facts. It's facts. Yeah, absolutely. Same thing with like a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm a goddamn lawyer.
Yeah.
Like I graduated. Like I barely passed my. Like I'm Kylie
you could be
Jenner.
Some fucking crazy.
I barely didn't.
She failed.
My daddy was a famous lawyer, and I barely passed my law exam. But I'm so woke that I'm gonna do this for because they need my help.
Yes. Did you have a slip and fall?
Look, I'm glad you want to help. I'm glad you want to help, and I hope you real life help. Like, I hope you really do. Like, why would I ever hate on you? But like, your whole track record makes me not like your family, and I don't like what you did to Kanye. Like, you guys did something to that. Like, he was already fucked up, and you furthered a situation. And as a fan of Kanye West's music, like, I don't appreciate that. Like,
Kanye lost his mind when he lost his mom.
I agree. I agree. And on some level, dude, I can really empathize with that. Like, it took me a solid 6 years to like come back from like what was a traumatic like downslide of my life of like me just like with substance abuse and like a lot of like wanting to die and like crazy thoughts that like it was just like they perpetuate themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a vicious cycle, like, and then they just like regenerate based off like their existence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I've like lately I've put like a lot more effort into like being more positive, you know what I mean? And like having a workplace that I enjoy is like one of those things that really drives me because I recognize that like we all have bills to pay now. Like as a musician that like isn't fucking Justin Bieber, you know what I mean? Like I you know, like I'm 30, I'm big, like but I enjoy playing music and I enjoy writing music and I'm gonna continue to do it and I'm really good at it. I think I'm getting better. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like amazing. I'm not the best ever. Like I have way better artists that I enjoy that are better than me. But that being said, I don't like you never want to deny progression when you see it. You know what I'm saying? And so like if I notice the bar keep steadily getting higher, I'm not gonna stop shooting. You know what I'm saying? Why would I? Like you put up 100 shots, you might make fucking 10, but I still put up 100. You know what I mean? Like bro, like. It's been like eventually your rate of success is gonna get better, and that's how I feel about songs. And like that being said, like there is no security in music, and that's like it's like a really loose road to take, and it's like traveled by a lot of people. It's heavily diluted, and so for me to find a job that I'm in right now where I'm also passionate about cannabis, which is a rare thing because I normally only gravitate towards music. Like like a job in music was all I would accept in my mind until now. And now, if it's possible now in the state of Illinois for me to have a job within cannabis, and that was the thing that pushed me to get the job I have now. And you know, I do love my job, but that being said, I don't see a negative side to unionizing as well. Like I think, like you said, I think it just adds a seat at the table for the people, and it is the people essentially. Like I was definitely looking at it wrong before you got here. I was looking at it like a they, there's a union entity, and essentially there is. Like if there's a president and there's a vice president, and there's like like there is something there that runs and like reprimands the way things go. But like it is comforting to me to hear that the people within the business are actually the union reps themselves, and like that's comforting.
So we'll also either we'll elect as workers 1 to 2 shop stewards that are going to work in house as union representatives, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and the shop steward, they don't get paid more or anything.
But I mean, like they're going to bat for the team.
Yeah, that's basically their whole job, and they are on as legally as far as legal grounds are concerned. Shop stewards are on the same level as management, and they have the exact same rights as managers as far as like say if you you got in trouble and they were gonna question you about something, and I was the shop steward there. I would talk to them before they talked to you.
Oh yeah, no wonder they don't want that shit.
Yeah, and then I would talk to you about it before you talked to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that as a worker because there has been a lot of situations that I felt like I've been reprimanded out of a misunderstanding or something that could have been easily diffused had there been a little bit of investigation done rather than just an assumption based on, like you were saying, favoritism at the time. Not this place of work, obviously, because I've only been working here a little short time, but like in places I've worked, and this goes back to the thing, like I've worked a lot of places that have like way worse than this. This is like, honestly, like top 2 best jobs I've ever had in my life. As far as pay, I get benefits. I'm full time for real. Like that's pretty dope. Like those things exist, bro. And like I'm
so
not...
the full time thing. A lot of those things came. So I think we sent in the petition on April 5th.
That's good, man.
Like
even the pressure got things moving, right?
Well, before April 5th, full time was a max of 32 hours.
Right. Well, see that now. That's how it was at the club because at 32 hours they don't have to offer you benefits, and so because like you have to work a solid 40 or close to it. Like I think it's like 38 or something like
And
that.
that's what they were trying to do to us. You have to work. You only actually 32 is actually the minimum you have to do to qualify for benefits.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to work us any more than that.
Yeah.
They were trying to basically, and they were also short shifting us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
the club.
until
That club I worked at would cap you at like 30, and then like they like if you like didn't clock out, like did you clock out? How many hours are you at? Oh, you're at 31. They'd have to like call their boss and be like, "Oh, so and so went over an hour," and then they get yelled at. And I'm like, "Bro, this is fucking crazy." The extent you guys go to not pay your fucking people.
So right now we have about I think it's like 62 workers. And before the union petition was sent in on April 5th, we had 38.
I mean,
And we had been hemorrhaging them.
Pros and cons there, right? Like so like yeah, that's scary as a person that already exists. Also, it's scary as a person that already exists that is like looking forward to having a union presence, right? I could see like from that perspective like why that's worrying. Also, pros though, like not being short staffed is great. Like having like people like you that are able to train people, in certain situations, like where they put people with you and you can teach them the right way to do things. Like that's a good thing. I felt good the other day because like whenever we had like the switch on the from BioTrack to Leaf Logics, like it was like something like new that we all had to learn.
Yeah.
And so I was like legit like being able to help people learn something at my work, but it didn't matter how long you worked there. Like I'm showing you how to work Leaf Logic.
Yeah.
So like I was able to like as a new guy be like, oh, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
It's like that was cool. And like in a sense that was like a team thing for me. Like I was able to like work with some people like no I'm not like complete nincompoop like and that's the thing about place with like high turnover. Like it's tough for people that have been working there a long time to really look forward to like a presence of like a brand new hire. You know what I'm saying? Because like they say him like he might be gone next week. He might be gone today. Like today might be his last day.
And we've had people like
when
that.
he finds out this isn't a fucking stoner job and you have to work retail and like do customer service and not be a piece of shit and not smell bad and show up on time and like bro, there's a lot of things like people just don't know about being an adult. And stoners, like there are a negative connotation exists for a reason.
Yeah,
those people exist. There's dirtbags within every culture, and those like there are undesirables.
They
bro.
show up too.
But like
They
we're
show
here.
up.
But like we're here. There's people like us that show up, like you're saying. And like I use it for medicinal purposes. I enjoy having a place to work that's within the industry, and I also like I said, I'm readily like I'm not gonna put my opinion out there one way or the other for sure, but I definitely don't see many negative benefits or side effects from
unionizing.
for sure. Like I just feel like honestly it adds like leverage to the like weight to the bat of the workers. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that the workers don't have a bat where we work. It's just that like it adds a little bit of weight to it. Like put a little cork in the bat. Like you know what I mean? You might be able to like get an opinion in there every now and then. Is all I'm saying. Like
and that's another thing that like people within the workplace who are maybe not pro union after the union election, if we do go union, whether they're pro union or not, their opinions matter because I mean we're unionized, so they get a say. I mean, and it's still a democracy majority say.
Yeah.
And depending on what it is, it might even have to be a super majority
See, I mean,
say.
and that's comforting for me. I mean, I am admittedly a bit of a leftist, but like that.
Yeah.
Like the idea.
Like, do you think 2/3 of our workers at this moment would vote to strike? I personally don't. I don't
strike?
think.
I don't have a reason to strike.
No. But if there was a reason to strike, I don't even think. Well, like at the moment, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's very situational, and like at this point, it's in like a hypothetical realm. But like
futuristic.
I mean, if there was like a direct like insulting thing that like made me want to go on strike, then sure, like I would like the ability to do it without being fired right away. But
and it's possible. But as it sits right now,
but in Illinois, like they don't even need to guarantee. It's not a corporate thing. They don't need to guarantee you that because of state's laws.
No, but like right now, to win the election, it takes 50% plus one.
Right, but here's the thing: they don't have to tell you that they fired you because of the union. They don't have to tell you that. They can, in Illinois, they can fire you for anything. They fire you because they don't like the way you look.
Yeah, so if we lose the election, then they can do that for sure.
But I mean, so like you're saying, union blocks them from that ability.
Yeah, because there's a just cause clause.
Right. So then they have to have a legal reason.
Yeah,
to fire them. So like, what is the criteria of getting into the union? Is every person that's employed just automatically gets into the union?
So anyone who's working there at the point where a union contract is ratified will automatically be part of a union without having to pay, the initiation dues.
Right.
And
so then every person that gets hired has to pay an extra fee?
Yeah, but the way that it basically works is the 90-day probationary period that most workplaces give you, you will have you won't be part of the union, you won't be paying union dues, the $6 a week or $12 a paycheck. And that builds up over time, and whenever you meet that 90-day criteria, you pay back that time because your seniority starts from that time. It doesn't start from the point where you join the union. It starts from the point where you were hired, but you have to make it through that 90 days.
This is going to be really hard to explain to people that don't want to understand that.
Well, nobody who works there is going to have to.
But I'm saying like people that are just like maybe not coherent or maybe not like cognitively receptive enough to hear what you're actually saying there. By the time you get to the point where like they start talking about like reprimands and like like they're just out, you know what I mean? And it's like,
so they won't have an option.
I'm saying there's a lot of misunderstanding with like the concept of like what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
amongst the people that don't know, and that's the whole reason why I wanted to do this podcast. I'm glad you came on here, man. We're getting like we're getting pretty long, and I just want to like say that like I really appreciate you like
I appreciate you
coming on here and setting the record straight. If there's anything like one last thing you'd like to say about the union thing that you maybe didn't get across, like go ahead and shoot that shot. But like I definitely think we covered a lot of basis. I think like you answered a lot of my questions, which essentially like I think I'm coming from a little bit. It's like the smallest fraction of a bit more understanding than a couple of the people that work with us, and so I just wanted to just basically reinforce the fact that like pro union is not anti.
It's not anti-company.
Company, not corporation. Good terminology.
Yeah, it's not
anti-company. Because
and also in
just like the union is us, the company is us also, right?
Yeah, and when it also comes to like matters of handling, issues, whether like say if you had an issue with somebody or with a manager, you don't have to involve the union. The union isn't required to represent you if you don't want them to be there. Like if you say, like say if say if the manager called you into the office to talk to you about a tardy, you'd be like, okay, I can go and do that.
It's like a parachute.
You can, and at any point in time, you can actually pull that wine garden card and be like, actually, I really would like to caucus with my representative and then get back to this.
And depending on like how much I trust my union rep, I might. Like in the same sense, like we said, like people suck.
Well, that's why people have to workers vote on the union.
People individually suck. So like I could see me hating a union rep as much as I hate a manager. You know what I mean?
But you have to elect your union rep.
That's
so
what
it's
I mean.
Not someone
but like
who's
just because everybody else likes a person doesn't mean I like that person.
Yeah.
Like as a person, like I said earlier, I'm selfish.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from my point of view, and dude, I just like I don't see too many negative side effects. So I just like I wanted to like set the record clear, and I'm glad that you were able to just at least explain a lot of the things that I was wondering about, how operations and the actual day-to-day activity and the people that work there amongst us is going to have, like what's essentially going to be, like, because the idea of change is very scary, and so, like, the people that don't understand change or how it's going to affect them might negative, like, because a lot of people are just scared, and then they're like, like, fuck that, right?
And there's a honeymoon period for sure, because a lot of people just came into their dream job and they are making $15 an hour, but whenever you think about it, $15 an hour is not a progressive wage.
See, it's not that I'm enamored with the 15 an hour, it's that like I had a really high stress job that hired me with at 15 an hour and had a hidden $2 incentive that was advertised as like, okay, well, if I work hard, I get 17 instead of 15. But no, actually, it meant that like after your first couple months, once your benefits kicked in, they were going to move you to 13. And if you don't hit some ridiculous fucking crazy quota, you don't get your 15 an hour.
Yeah, that's also another thing. Have you ever read our handbook?
I left that I had a really hard job wiring alarm systems in mansions and fucking basements and like crawl spaces and bullshit and dealing with fucks. And like I'm not great because it was like something brand new, and like I'm learning, like I'm good at some things, but like there's a lot of troubleshooting involved in that job, and a lot of like, oh, what's fucking wrong? Like it's a lot of situational bullshit, and so like it was a high stress thing. I'm like working on people's houses, and obviously they care about that. So yeah, I had a really shitty day left there. I went to the other Beyond Hello by the strip clubs, and I was just basically like, I was in there and like I knew exactly what I wanted, and I knew more than the dude that was trying to sell it to me. And when he noticed that, he was like, dude, you should work here. And I'm like, nah, dude, like I make 15 an hour, and knowing damn well they just told me that day I'm going down to 13, but I said I would make 15, and he was like, I make 15 an hour. And I was like, nah, dude, like I'm fucking full time, bro. And he's like, I'm full time. And I'm like, no, dude, I got benefits. He's like, I got benefits. And I'm like, bro, like what the fuck am I doing with my life? So for the next 2 weeks, I work my job, but I also put in like an app like every other day at Beyond Hello or Jushy rather, and I just like they had that little like 120 character box where it's like be unique. I don't know if you've been employed so long. I don't know if you've seen it, but like they have this thing where it's like 120 characters, which is like a sentence when you break it down. It's just like a collection of numbers or letters rather. And it's like, be unique, get our attention. And I think I put so many different responses in that box that like I didn't think I was getting the job, and so like I just started getting weird with it, and I'm not sure what stuck. Like I'm really curious to know like which one bit, because when with Sam, she's not even there anymore, but like when she called me for the video interview, she was like, well, you got our attention. And I'm like, okay, like had a great interview, but I got hired and whatever. So like, I feel it's a blessing. I agree with you. Like, I don't want to inhibit or like harbor the business in any way. I just think like enhancing is the right way to look at it.
Yeah,
like
enhancing and securing, because there's some aspects like. So with the benefits right now, we do actually have decent health care.
But like, wouldn't that also motivate like the corporate entities to do more for the managers that aren't going to receive the security? Like you know what I mean?
It'll be good. Yeah, no, of course it will. It's gonna improve everybody inside the store. Even the managers who aren't union, they're gonna have more responsibilities. They're gonna end up getting more pay because they're gonna be able to basically negotiate for it in some kind of extent.
Well, I know today's what, the 7th?
Yes.
When the election's tomorrow?
The 10th.
The 10th.
The 10th. So 8th is the last day
you can mail it, right?
Yeah.
Where does it have to be in at? You tell the people.
So it's going into the United States National Relations, National Labor Relations.
You have to mail it to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it needs 2 days to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And it's
So like late ballots get counted or not?
No, if it's not there on time, then it's not counted.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean that's so there's some information for you people. I'll sit here and tell you right now, I haven't cast my ballot yet. I was like waiting to the very last second, and like honestly, I was waiting until we had this conversation. And as usual, I'm a fucking last minute motherfucker. Like tomorrow is like my last, But like if I'm gonna vote, and I'm not saying I will vote, but if I'm gonna vote, I feel like a lot more educated on it, and I appreciate you coming over and getting super high and talking with me for 6 hours.
I appreciate you. Yeah, no,
we only recorded like 4 of them, but it's a 3-hour podcast. But
no shit, we Joe Rogan'd it.
We Joe Rogan'd it hard as fuck. Hey man, but you know what I mean. We're high as shit.
It's because I was high and lost train of thought a couple times.
I'm down to kick it more.
Hell yeah,
and smoke more of these dabs. But we're gonna turn off this podcast. Shouts out to Ian for stopping in, hanging out. We had some fun.
Shout out to the local 881 UFCW.
Yeah, shout out to our employer and them. Let's peacefully coexist. Let's get this thing going.
I look forward to working with Juicy.
For sure, dude.
Being there for years to come.
I think that's the goal, right? Like just a career. And everybody wants that in their lives. And I stress it all the time on this podcast. Like, you got to be who you want to be. Like, try to find something you're passionate about. If you don't have something inside that just tickles you pink when you do it. Like, you have to find that in life. Like, explore whatever the fuck it is. And I don't give a shit. It could be like competitive crocheting or like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, dude. Like, plug and play your life and find out like something that makes you happy, dude. Like, I found that in music. I found it in cannabis, and I'm lucky to do both for my life. And that's making me a happier person. I said that earlier. Like, just helping my mental health. And I want to like shout out to Just You for doing that for me, like hiring me and giving me a place where I can do that. That's why, like you said, I want to make sure I'm there for a while. I want to make sure that it's worthwhile, and I want to make sure that my passion has a place. Like, I want to make sure that like I'm not just inputting my energy and time in life into something that's gonna dissolve in my life.
No, you should be building sweat equity within the time and efforts that you're putting in.
Yeah, man. And I mean, like you said, like bro, that doesn't guarantee a shitty employee a place to work. Because like you know, you can't be a fuckhead anywhere you work. Like, you can't be an asshole.
No,
you know
there's certain expectations that all
like, I don't give a fuck how good you are at making sandwiches, bro. I always said, like, dude, like a guitar player could play like a fucking Eddie Van Halen, but if he's an asshole, I don't want him in my fucking band.
Yeah.
I will take the dude that's learning how to play guitar, but is a really nice guy, over that, because
he's easier to work with and it's a better team dynamic.
Yeah, dude. I will teach him every step of the way, and it's a lot more work for me. But you know what, dude? Like fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the way it is in like the workplace too. Like there's certain people, and then like I know power goes to people's heads and whatever, but like there's people like coworkers that you work with in any industry. There's always one or two that you don't like, or just like miserable people, like having a bad life. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like they take that out on other people. It's not always their fault. Like, some people like have mannerisms they can't control. Some people have like temperament, like, or like bipolar conditions, or like there's a lot of things like, and some people don't give a fuck to stop to look at those things. And
I do, after the union election, if we win, I'm gonna run for shop steward, of course. And if I win a shop steward position, I think people who have been most vocally anti-union, I'm gonna go to them and make sure that they know how to use their union the most, because one of the reasons why a lot of people are anti-union is because they're skeptical that they're actually going to be getting anything out of that money that they're putting in.
Right.
Like you said, it was a them thing whenever I first came here, and like it is an us thing, and people got to realize that we are fighting to get more out of what we're putting than what we're putting in.
Yeah,
and
I mean, and
I want them to get that. I want them to have full representation.
Such a fucking aggressive term, like pushing, like striving, like that's a better word than fighting.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying, we're striving for a better workplace, we're striving for more security, we're striving for more guarantees. And I mean, yeah, if I look at it, like I said, as a person that's undecided, if I look at it from a we standpoint, it makes me feel better about it.
Yeah, and as an organizer myself, it's my job to, reach out to people, especially the people who are most skeptical about the union, and make sure that, even if they are going to vote no, which I, maybe disagree with, but I support their decision to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want them to be able to. Oh, well, yeah, 100%.
Like, as a person that advocates for your opinion, you have to also.
Yeah, it's a principled matter.
Yeah, like absolutely. And I respect your disposition in that sense, because. That alone takes a little bit of growth. I just hope that everyone else involved that gets elected into positions has that same level of understanding and that same temperament, because like that's the thing, is like any, like we said earlier, people suck. It doesn't matter. There's dirtbags in anything. Like, some of those people get roles of power, and like it happens. Like we can plug and play, but like like you said, it's like not as easy as that when the union is involved. And I think that's something to be valued, just because investigation is often, and good and bad, like, right? Like, if something bad happened, you want to investigate it. If it got found out, fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, but like also, if you did investigation and somebody didn't do anything wrong, then we didn't fucking punish an innocent person or something based off an assumption or a favoritism thing or like anything like that.
Or no emotions flared up because there was no accusations made or anything like that, because there was time and a diplomatic process.
I think where we work tries really hard, but like obviously there's things wrong.
They're trying harder now.
There's things wrong everywhere, but like there's like it's improving, and like you said, when your feet are to the fire, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna start kicking, you know what I mean? So it's like you gotta like I'm not even looking at it as like a downside. Like, it's kind of like, as a person's been there, I'm sure like, oh, now, but like you know what I mean? Like at the same time, bro, like it worked. like what you're doing, or
And
what
it's continuing to work.
what
Well,
you know, the pressure. I mean,
that's the big thing that worries me is that, like, so they almost unionized
like
last year, and there was.
that's almost a compromise.
But and that's the problem, though. Their corporate concessions. So that's what the company decided to do last time. They gave corporate concessions and
So you
entice
think-
people
you
not
think-
to unionize.
You think it's a wine and dine?
Because it is,
Yeah.
and they chop away at those benefits, and they chop
see
away
that.
at those rights and those hours and those wages.
Yeah,
It's,
it's just neat.
in our contract that they can reduce
Yeah.
our wage at any given time, and
like
and
you
the
said-
fact that we're breaking federal law for what's going to be the Illinois minimum wage here soon anyway. We could all go to federal prison with the one bad change of administration. You know,
Yeah, well-
is it likely? No. Is it possible? 100
Bro,
fucking
they could
percent.
kick in the door any minute.
Oh, 100%. They
And that has
could.
happened. Like, I've seen videos of like Colorado dispensaries getting raided and shit. But anyway, we're getting off tangent. Anyway,
Yeah.
so unionization. It's up to you if it's good or bad for you. If you work with us, good on you. If you made it this far, like, you're a fucking
Trooper.
holy shit,
Yeah.
bro. Like me and him are gonna listen to this, and that's about it. But like, there's a lot of really good information. We will promote it as such. And I would like to thank Ian for being here,
Yes.
taking this time.
Thank you, Buddha.
For sure, man. Thank you for being here, dude. For real. Like, we'll have you again, dude. Like, I'm definitely like
Fuck yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna hopefully be
I mean,
more
we
sober and sharp next time. I need to eat before I come
sober and
next.
sharp, bro. With the whole thing, we're getting stoned, bro.
Man.
Like, I asked you to bring your electric dab rig. We're gonna continue to get high, bro. Like, that's what I do here. Like
Yeah.
we cough. Sometimes we say, like it happens, bro. I do it all the time. You should imagine what it's like when I'm by myself, talking for an hour and a half.
Hey, you know, I do it for Instagram. Well, I used to, but they limited me to 10 minutes now. And I
Yeah.
used to be able to get an hour out of them.
That's good though. Yeah, it's good to write even like little 10-minute flurries, or even to go on like an improv rant or something like that.
It's healthy, especially if you don't like have like family or roommates or anybody else in the house. Like, it's good to
Yeah.
talk and like have like a conversation.
Yeah,
kind
the
of thing, even
silence
if
is
it's by
golden
yourself.
sometimes, but it's also unsettling at times. And
It can be, yeah.
You're right.
And I don't always want to listen to music. Sometimes I want to pretend like I'm having a conversation and be actively, because if you
Facts.
don't speak, that can make you, even just listening to stuff is not enough. You have to be speaking sometimes.
Dude, I was listening to some gurus, Sadi Guru and Tom Waits, who's even talking about it one time. It was like,
Yeah.
that's how like they do it in Peru in the jungle. Like when shaman like become shaman, period of time they have to go out in the jungle and they live there and they don't speak and they like take a vow of silence and they just like sit there in silence for like months. And when they come out of it, they're like a different person. You know what I mean?
Bet. I fucking bet.
And so like that's like strength, mental. In my mind, that's like mental strength training.
I couldn't imagine.
You know, because like I'm sure they break like at some point. Like there's got to be, like disconnect from the world like complete like that. Like it's almost freeing in a sense, but like I could see how it also would be challenging. But dude, like we've talked for so long, and I just like we could do it forever. So like, we'll have you back on
Part one.
Yeah, part one for sure, dude. Like maybe we'll get another guest and fucking
Get a
triple
round
kick it.
table.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm down, man. And like I haven't done a whole lot of guests, and you're honestly my third, but you're my second that got aired, so you're technically my second.
Yeah, buddy.
And I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, like I just want to make this podcast just to like tell more people about something I didn't really understand about, what unionization meant to the cannabis industry and how it would apply to me and the people I work with. So you answered a lot of my questions, and I appreciate that, man.
No
Thank you very
problem.
much.
Thank
So, yeah, clap it up out there for Ian, and it's very informative.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Buddha Podcast. Tell people where they can get union information and stuff.
Yeah. So you can look up the UFCW in your states. There's if you're here in Illinois, you can just go on Google and type in Illinois Cannabis Union, and it'll pull up a bunch of information about all of the wins that have been made here in Illinois. All the information that you need to get in contact with the union, and as well as the actual sign-up cards to sign the petition is all online. So it's really easy. You can share the link with your friends, start talking to people. That's how it all starts. If you think that, if you and your coworkers think that you need union representation, then
No matter
it all
the
starts
industry.
with you. Yeah, no matter the industry. It all starts with the workers.
Word.
Starts and ends there.
All right, man. Well, stay high, smoke weed every day. Big Buddha Podcast. Hit me up on YouTubes. I'm on the Facebooks. I'm out here doing the dang thing, and those are free, and that's why I do them like that. But I am gonna start paying for my pod sprout, my Buzzsprout again for podcast, and I'll be on Spotify again and iHeartRadio, and yeah, it'll be like nothing ever happened ever again, And this is episode 16 technically. If I drop the one I did last night, this is episode 16.
Hell yeah.
And so I'm probably gonna do that. Both boom boom.
And you can find me on Instagram too at Mr.Smoke_001
Fuck
for random rants and clips of me ripping bongs. It's good stuff, fun time.
Fuck yeah, go follow my guy, bro.
Mr. Smoke_001.
That's a cool name. I got a cool one too. It's like,
that's why I got the Mr. Smoke on the mask. A friend made it for me. It's actually a med patient of ours.
Oh, okay, Mr. Smoke.
Yeah, Mr. Smoke.
See, so my name is Buddha Smokes Buddha on Instagram. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Like, yeah, I had a lamer name, but then I changed it to that. Anywho, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. If you made it this far, like, fuck, man, like, I would like send you a get like fruit basket or something. Like, just hit my inbox for a fruit basket if you've made it this far in the podcast.
I'll take a bong rip for you on Instagram. Make it over there.
Boom, he'll contribute some fruit.
Bye for now.
To the basket. Yeah. Maybe even the right kind of fruit. Who knows? I don't know. That's illegal. So we'll keep it like it might be papaya or like bananas. GMO fruit only, unfortunately.
GMO fruit. Fuck yeah. GMO.
All right, man. Well, have a great night, y'all. Peace out.
Bye.